Welcome to Conversations with Epiphany. Let's talk, the show where we dive deep into the essence of what makes our guests uniquely themselves. Join as we uncover the stories, experiences, and moments that shape their lives. From the triumphs to the trials, we're here to explore it all. Let's get talking and discover the heart of every story.
Hello, everybody. I am here with Michael Lyle and Mike Patton. Michael Lyle is morning edition host reporter anchor for NPR station at KUNC 91.5 in Greeley, Colorado. Thank you for joining me today. And Mike Patton, he covers all sports in Tennessee, and he has his own podcast, This Woman Works. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Epiphany. It was nice to be a part of this.
Thank you. I know we are here discussing all things draft and FL. So who do you think is going to go number one?
Yeah, that's to me that's Cam Ward all day, every day. And it's pretty much been that way for about a month. It's just, I guess the Titans keep stopping short of saying, hey, we're picking Cam Ward number one.
Right.
They basically played around and said that they weren't trading the pick or anything like that, which I don't think that was ever going to come into play anyway, unless they got some kind of Godfather deal.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, Cam Ward's the pick.
Right. And I know you are right, right there in Tennessee where all the action is. So how is it down there knowing that you guys presumably are about to get the number one pick?
Well, it was very interesting. You have people that loved Cam Ward. You had people that didn't like Cam Ward. You had people that wanted them to trade the pick and get more pieces. You had people that thought they were crazy. So you had all these different factions of people. You got some people that still don't want them to draft Cam Ward right now. You have people that, let's see. You have people that want them to draft Abdul Carter and go into the next season with Will Levis at quarterback again. Just take that information with what you will.
Right.
I'll say that there. But yeah, you have all these different factions and a lot of excitement, but a lot of people that make you scratch your head and like, okay, did you see him play last season? So I've said that a few times to people already about Will Levis, even though hey, he tries hard, but nah.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Michael Lyle, you covered Colorado football team. Had a chance to speak with Shedeur Sanders about Dion about this upcoming draft. How do you think they're feeling right now?
Well, I think they're feeling very confident. Before the spring game, you saw the interview I posted with Shedeur a couple of weeks ago. They had a special session out here. It was called the We Ain't Hard to Find Showcase. I believe it was another way of just trying to add to their draft status, trying to showcase their talents to the rest of the NFL scouts. It was televised on NFL Network, so they got more national exposure. I think this was their last little way of showing that here are your two top picks in this draft. Here's their abilities. You've seen them for 3 years out here. They've excelled on this level. They are certainly among the best of the best. You have one of them, a Heisman Trophy winner, who I know Mike said that Cam Ward might be number one, but there's also that notion that in a matter of minutes, that could be Travis Hunter taking that number one spot. Because this is a player that we have not seen since, ironically enough, Coach Prime was the last player that could play both positions in the NFL. There's that debate about Travis could play both the offensive and defensive side. He was a two-way player here at Colorado. That's why he won the Heisman Trophy, because he was a once-in-a-generation type player that we may never see again. So this is an opportunity for any team, whoever gets the opportunity to get their hands on Travis, they're going to be striking gold, because even though he might have played 2 or 3 years on the FBS level, he excelled. And he's certainly going to be an upgrade for any team that picks him up. Now, in Shedeur's case, he also was another going to be upgraded at the quarterback position. He had some bumps when he first came here to the FBS level after playing at Jackson State. But he eventually he got experience. He actually learned. He got more reps. He actually learned how the FBS play was compared to the FCS level. And that's why I think he developed his skill a lot more over his last couple of years here. So, not to sound biased, but I'm a Giants fan. And I know there's been a lot of chatter about the Giants looking for a quarterback. It has been mentioned numerous times over the last several months that he could be going to New York. There was also talk that his father, Dion, wanted him to go to the major market team. the Raiders were part of those talks. There was also the talk of maybe him going to another major team like Dallas or even the Giants. But I think at the end of the day, whoever is in need of a quarterback is going to get an upgrade. Cam Ward is definitely another solid quarterback in this class. So now you got 2 good quarterbacks that could go at least in the top 5. And I'm just hoping that if not Shedeur, maybe Travis, but wishful thinking. And it's nights like this, guys, you just never know what's going to happen in those draft rooms, what they're talking about. They could be some type of strings that we don't know about, and then they could probably drop some type of bomb that will shake everything up.
Yeah, that is so true, and I know from Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft that he has Travis Hunter going to the Cleveland Browns, and I'm like, okay, and then it has Shedeur going to the Steelers. So I was like, well, that could be, because I know the Pittsburgh Steelers just got a very good wide receiver from Seattle Seahawks. So definitely need a quarterback that can throw to him. How do you guys feel? How do you think, if Cleveland does select Travis, how do you think he would fit into their offense or defense or both?
Mike, I'll let you take the lead on that one since you got a close eye on that one.
I'm just again, 3 years I've been watching Travis out here. I mean, again, he's a once in a generation type player. He's an instant upgrade to whatever team lands him. Offensively and defensively, he's proven he can play on both sides of the ball. Right. He's a dynamic threat. He certainly has the skill set to play at this level. Right. Again, that's why they had the reps at the special event they had a couple of weeks ago out here to let everybody know that this is a player that you may never ever see in the draft like this or on this level of football ever again. Right. So if Cleveland were to pick him up, they know they have a two-way player that can make plays on both sides of the ball. Wow. It also depends on who the quarterback is, too. You got to work in the system where Travis can flourish also. You just don't get a good player. You got a good player, but now you got to make sure that system that he's going to works. Right. So I know Cleveland's got a lot of issues at the quarterback position right now. I believe they picked up Joe Flacco, if I'm not mistaken. Right. Okay, so now you have to work Travis into that system where Flacco's the quarterback. Flacco has not had a great year in a long time. I mean, he had his glory years when he was in Baltimore, of course. Right. But this is a new era of football. They got to be more mobile. Travis is coming to a league where there's a lot more mobility at that position. Right. So you're hoping that he can work in an offensive system, not just defensively, where he can help on both sides, and that Cleveland can actually build around him, and they can become better. Right.
That's so true. That's true. Mike Patton, you want to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers if they draft I would say Shedeur if they do.
Well, I would say this. It may be Shedeur. It may be Jackson Dart. It's all dependent upon if Shedeur goes sooner in this draft. Yeah. I think if Shedeur goes sooner, they will pick Jackson Dart. Either way it goes, I think they go get a quarterback. Right. With Shedeur, you have a guy that's precise in his passing. He definitely anticipates well. Does he hold on to the ball sometimes a little bit much? Yeah, that happens. But can he process information and get through his reads? Yes, he can. And he's better than anything that Pittsburgh has right now. Right. So, yeah, he would be the starter. Jackson Dart's interesting. He's got a strong arm, makes some good throws. I'm not to say that Shedeur doesn't. Shedeur does have a strong arm. Yeah. But it's just Jackson Dart does have a cannon for an arm. However, he does make some decisions that do make you scratch your head a lot. Shedeur, for all the people that want to criticize him hanging on to the football and those type of things, he doesn't necessarily put it in harm's way a ton of times, like Jackson Dart does, trying to throw it through a keyhole at times.
Right. And it definitely would be interesting to see top 5, like I said, has Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, and Ashton Jeanty going top 5 picks. I know we're getting ready to see who goes number 1. And I think, like you said, everybody all in Tennessee think it's going to be Cam Ward. I think so as well. And I would say the first time in a long time that all 32 teams have a first round pick. So I think that is very interesting as well. Kansas City Chiefs, even like I said, the Eagles have their first round pick, which is very interesting. Let's talk about the Eagles. What do you think? What do they need? The Super Bowl winning champs right now. Who do you think what would make them better going forward?
Ooh, that's a good one. But if they stick to the same pattern, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike. You can take that. I mean, you were talking. Go ahead. That's you. Take that.
I would say probably more defensive linemen because they did lose a couple of key defensive linemen. The thing with them is they like to build depth up front and rotate linemen up front. Big
Right.
Fangio, that's a big thing for his defense and what they can do there. So I'm expecting them to draft up front the big uglies, the trenches. That is where the framework of that team. That is where the identity of that team is, in my opinion. As we
Right.
see Lil Wayne on the stadium on the stage riding a bicycle.
Right. I saw that. I was like, oh my, that he is getting ready. I know for 32 they have linebacker Jahad Campbell for the Eagles. So, that could, definitely be very interesting. What about, let's go to my Giants. Let's go to well, you know what? Let's hold it because it seems like right now we're about to go to the number 1 pick. So let's join in from there. Let me see if I can.
That is one huge crowd.
Little catchy that came on bikes and Lil Wayne was out there too. I think that was catchy.
People said that Green Bay was too small for this with a population of 107,000.
It technically
But
is.
we have over 125,000 people here and still counting.
Funny thing is,
Obviously,
none of these people are going to be
it may be
staying in Green
small,
Bay this night
but it's mighty.
because there's no hotels.
No.
Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight and hope you have a great few days.
I wish they bring the draft back to Nashville again. That was fun.
I don't know if you saw reports, but there's talks that I believe Pittsburgh is it Pittsburgh next year is going to get the draft. I think I saw.
Over the next 3 days,
I know
we
there
will
was 3
welcome
teams
in
bidding
the
for
next
it, but
generation
I
of
can't
stars into the NFL
Denver's in the running for the
and bring hope
2027.
to every NFL team.
I hope
Oh,
we
okay.
And
can.
we made a few surprises
nice.
for you tonight.
Yeah, out here in
But
the Rocky
first,
Mountains, that'd be a nice.
Let's hear
backdrop.
from some of your Packer
Yes, sir.
greats.
Definitely.
Please welcome Clay Matthews,
I ain't seen Clay Matthews in forever.
Jordy Nelson, Mason Crosby, Amon Green,
Oh, I didn't recognize him on Green for a second
James Jones, and Packer superfan Lil Wayne.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he looks like a super short guy compared to
I'm
the
going to go off
other
script
guys.
here real quick, Roger, but I just got off the phone with the president, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass a message along to all
Oh, my
32
Lord.
NFL franchises.
Really?
So let me tell you what it reads here, all right?
Is this what we doing tonight?
It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck! Let's go!
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Roger, I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's
He's not. No.
no.
Mm.
Ugh. Can't we just have the draft?
Okay, Green Bay, it's time to get the show started.
Mm.
Are you ready? The 2025 NFL Draft is now officially open. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
Now I don't know if you all
All right,
heard
Mike.
the,
Here we go. Get your drum roll ready.
Yep. Here we go. But I don't know if you all heard, but as far as the draft and everything, as far as how the setup game came with Chad Brinker being the Galver president, the president of operations, and Mike Borgonzi being the GM.
Mhm.
Now, those two actually worked together to get the Darius Sneed deal going on. So they actually had a previous relationship from that. And the crazy thing is, guess who hired Chad Brinker? That would be Rand Carthon.
Mm.
So Rand Carthon got fired, and they promoted the guy that he hired,
Wow.
and then he brought in the GM that did the L'Jarius Sneed deal, which I thought was quite interesting. How that
Very, very
and
interesting.
some Titans fans definitely feel a way about Chad Brinker.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Wouldn't
I
surprise
don't know if you
you.
knew that one. I didn't know if you knew that one, Lau.
Schefter, and he's with us all evening long. Shefty, what does everyone need to know as we get underway?
Wouldn't surprise you if they don't take Cam.
Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, and New
Very
Orleans
much.
Saints all inquired about the availability of Cam Ward to the Titans. All were denied, despite the fact that the New York
Yep.
Giants offered their first-round pick this and next year, along with other picks. The Titans were sold on Cam Ward's workout. Their new general manager, Mike Bonganzi, came from the Chiefs, where he worked with Patrick Mahomes. And Cam Ward's instincts, the way he sees and feels the field, reminded him and them of Patrick Mahomes. And so now they are poised to make Cam Ward the fourth number one overall pick to work under Titans head coach Brian Callahan, joining Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Cam Ward right there, Greeny.
All right, Shefty, thank you very much. So, Mel Kiper Jr., you and I have been
He's
talking
probably getting a
about
call
this
from
on
the Titans
our
right now.
podcast
Right now.
Should
Yeah, that's probably the call from the Titans right now. He's picking up his
He
phone.
has remained that way throughout. Do you believe the Titans are making the right call tonight, taking Cam Ward number one?
Cam Ward, I get it. The arm talent is undeniable. I understand that. He can be
Probably thinks
creative.
Abdul
He can
Carter,
escape.
knowing Mel
Things
Kiper.
Ward can't do, but if Shador gets an offensive line in front of him, the exact same thing I said about Tom Brady when he came out as a sixth-round pick. After Giovanni Carmazzi from Hofstra went in the third round because he was more athletic and more talented physically, athletically. Saw what happened there. And you look at Shador Sanders, everything you want an NFL quarterback to be, he has. Toughness in the pocket, unflappable. Final 2 minutes of a game. Look at the precise, accurate passing. Short, intermediate, deep. He does all that. He was sacked a lot, right? So he's got to get the ball out a tick faster. He didn't have any help. The offensive line, blown block after blown block. You know,
I gotta say,
block after
this is
block.
Mel Kiper Jr.
He had
I used to
time
work
to
with
make
What's
him.
that?
And he is such an encyclopedia of knowledge
How
in
many
this
balls
sport.
hit the ground?
Right.
When he needed to come through,
Yes.
he did.
I can listen to that guy for hours talk. He breaks down every team, every conference, every league, every division. Nothing he doesn't get past when it comes to football. Pattern.
Yeah, that's true.
He studies this game like he's like the Pope of football.
Pressure all the time. No running game.
And I do mean that with all
Definitely,
sincerity because I mean, listen to how he's breaking them down right now. Listen to how he just speaks. The guy just reads, eats, sleeps, and breathes this stuff.
in a game and a half. Are you kidding me? No running game, no offensive
Yeah,
line to put up
yeah, he
another
definitely
team.
does break it
He, to
down.
me, deserves to be. And I think I understand Cam Ward. You want a 6'3", 30-pounder. You want a guy with a rocket arm. You want a guy with 4.6 speed. It's not Shador Sanders. Cam Ward, stronger arm, more talent. I get it. But I'm telling you, Shador Sanders, old school pocket. You can win big in this thing. It's been
Here
proven.
he goes.
time and
Oh
time.
boy.
Two things that everyone points to when they're talking about
There's gonna be a lot of
quarterback
broken
play.
hearts
Two
and a lot of
things that
happy hearts in the
everyone
next few
wants
minutes.
is great
Right.
decision making, inaccuracy throwing the football.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people in there's a lot of people they're probably talking to Cam Ward right now. That's what they're doing on the phone.
And yet we continue to
I can tell you that there's going to be some people in Tennessee that are going to be frustrated and mad. There's going to be some people that are going to be elated and happy.
Right.
I believe the Tennessee Titans are making
And when the season comes, it could, the season, the people that are going to be mad might turn to good, and the people that were feeling good might,
it's interesting. It's just the one thing about the Titans that no one has talked about a lot during this entire time is that the Titans have not ever developed any quarterbacks. The only quarterback they really developed was Steve McNair, I would say, but that was on accident.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Right.
on purpose. So, that's where a lot of criticism comes, and then also, not only with this, but wide receivers too. Drafting wide receivers in the first round does not ever work out for the Tennessee Titans. You go Kevin Dyson, Kendall Wright, you go Corey Davis, Traylon Burks. None of them ever worked out.
Patrick has done this time and time again.
They do have a curse of the first round wide receiver draft. They do have, that's why every time they talk about drafting a wide receiver in the first round, I'm like, nah, Titans don't need to do that.
Let me see that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've seen this
take it
picture
in.
before.
Hey, here we go.
Settle the tie.
Here we
I've got
go.
one vote for Shador. I've got one
Oh,
vote for Cam
please.
Ward if it was your team. who would you select?
Granny, for me, it would be Shadur Sanders. And we've become enamored so much by the wild plays, so much by the off-platform throws. But Granny, we don't take the simple. We don't like the simple sport. Look at what Shadur Sanders does. He plays the football like an old school position, the quarterback spot. He stands back in the pocket and he throws the football with accuracy. And it may not be the most special thing you've seen, but it's the prerequisite for the position. Completing the football with accuracy, with timing, great decisions, poise. He does all the things that you need to do quarterbacks to do.
All right, so the pick is in, and again, we expect it to be Cam Ward, though we've not been officially told that as of yet, and then perhaps the fireworks begin after
Well, I'll
that.
see Cam Ward tomorrow.
Cam Ward, a young man who ran
I'll be your first up close. Would that be your first interview with him?
Yeah, it'd be the first time I've seen him like up close and personal. So it'll be pretty much all Titans media and Cam Ward, and probably be the GM and football operations guy Chad Bricker too.
You.
Yeah.
You getting some love tonight. The you. Now they still do it? They still do that, right? You?
Yeah, they still do the you.
I'm sure I'm doing it right. They should have never taken away that turnover chain, though, I got to tell you.
National Football League draft. There he is. We see him. Here comes the commissioner. The pick is in.
Yeah, Cam Ward dad looked like a reverend, man. He looked like a reverend, man.
All right.
Expecting him to preach the word. See, watch, they about to show him in a minute.
Pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
There you go.
There you go.
So are we gonna have the Cam or we're gonna have the Cam or Cameron conversation like we had the Michael conversation?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Definitely glad it's all over because I mean we all knew here in Nashville that it was Cam Ward. There was no way they were gonna trade the pick either. So we've known that for a while now. It's just I had to you had to kind of play into all the different things, but we all knew what it was pretty much.
Do you think
Here we
there's
go. Hold on.
Oh, here's the Cleveland Browns, I know.
Jacksonville moved to number 2. Wow.
And that was going to be my question. I was like, do you think a team is going
So the Jaguars traded up?
Yeah, they traded up to get the number 2 pick. I bet you they're getting Travis Hunter.
Wow. Wow. You think that's a good fit? Travis Hunter in Jacksonville.
And a 6th-round pick. The
Jaguars traded up to number 2 just now. Holy snikes.
Right.
Yes. Wow. They're getting ready to go get Travis Hunter, man.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow.
That's exactly what they're going to get. Do you know who they're going after that? Yep.
Yep, definitely.
They traded 2 first-round picks to go get him.
Having his moment with the commissioner, this is something that we knew would happen. We did
Jaguars traded up. They're getting ready to get Cam. They're getting ready to get Travis.
Travis, definitely.
Yeah.
And that means we're going to get Shadur.
Yeah.
So now we had some excitement in the division now. Yes, we got Cam Ward and we got Travis Hunter.
The Giants are now we know the Giants are going to get one of these 2 guys. It's going to be either Travis or Shadur.
Wow.
Take your pick.
I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm like, now we have even more talent in the division. We actually got a quarterback for a team. Hopefully it works out. And now you got Travis Hunter, who's going to be explosive. So I'm assuming this, by the way.
Exactly.
They do have a need for corner, by the way, because they were talking about Javarius Jones and trying to give him a shot at the outside corner position. I'm like, nah.
Yeah. Did you guys see this?
Travis Hunter. Give me Travis Hunter.
Did you guys see this coming at all? That Jacksonville was
there was rumblings about it. There was rumblings about it today, like about midday today, but I just wasn't for sure how accurate it was. But I know all my guys that cover the Jacksonville Jaguars are absolutely losing their minds. Jacksonville fans said they wanted Travis Hunter. They just didn't think it was realistic with them at 5. Now they are absolutely going to be losing their
That could be very interesting. Travis Hunter, quarterback.
Brian Thomas Jr. I
Right.
at wide receiver and Travis Hunter.
Right.
Ooh,
That's
that's nasty.
yes, that could be the team to see.
Offensive guy, you can best believe he's going to use him on offense to the fullest.
Yeah, he's
extent.
definitely he's going to use him defensively, but they're going to use him offensively in the slot and stuff like that.
I don't think that's
what
what
I
I think it's going to
see
be. Something like 60-40, 75-25, something like that. It's in terms of breaking it up.
Yeah,
Look,
they're
Deion
definitely
did tell
picking
me, Deion
Travis Hunter.
Sanders, when I went out to Colorado, that he would
It would
start
surprise me if they
on the
pick
offensive
anybody
side of
else.
the ball when they break out of their
They should have
initial
moved up
first
like
team
that.
with whatever team. he
What's
goes
that?
to. He needs
I said
to
it
learn
would.
the
It would
nuanced
definitely surprise
intricacies of
me
that
if they
side of
decide to
football.
pick
He
someone
thinks
else,
he can step
especially
on the
moving
field
up like
immediately and
that.
contribute on defense.
Wow.
You'd be hard pressed to find anybody up here to say anything.
Well, when you want to shake things up, why not do it at the NFL draft, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
You're getting
That's
two
so true.
players in one.
Why not make the presence felt now while we're still in the spring mode before the off-season workouts and all those other events start up?
It's a significant
Exactly.
trade. Again, Shefty told us about an hour ago to expect quite a few.
So now that
explosive
Cleveland
trades early,
Browns
and we
has
get it here.
traded
And
their
look at
pick,
all
who do
that
you think?
Jacksonville
Who do you think they're
is
trying to
giving
go
up
after
here.
this
The
time?
fifth pick this year, a second and a fourth. Next year's
That does shake things. Again, that shakes things up big time now.
Right.
Andrew Barry, the general manager of
Because now they have the
to Travis Hunter
the
and compared him to
fifth
Shohei
overall
Ohtani. Shohei
I'll
Ohtani
say
has
this.
revolutionized baseball.
I don't
As
think
we
Shador
know,
makes
how
it
do you
past
feel about the
5.
Browns trading away
If he
You don't
doesn't
think
get picked by the Giants, he
selected
doesn't
here?
make it past 5.
How about Mason Graham?
I mean, look at that on your screen right
What's
there.
that?
You know, you have
How about Mason Graham
first-round
from
picks this year,
Cleveland?
a first-round pick next year. I mean,
That could be a good
He needs
pick,
to now
but
maximize all
you know,
those
I'm
extra
just
picks.
like, I don't know. I'm
Jacksonville,
just
man, they need
to
get
me,
special players.
you've got Joe Flacco and Kenny
Here's what we
Pickett.
got, Grady.
I'm not
We
trusting
decided
either of those
to work on
guys.
this trade for
Yeah.
2 weeks, and it changes
Nope.
the shape of this draft and
Wow.
Cleveland's approach to
Yeah.
quarterback, because the Browns now have 2 second-round picks at the top of this draft, and they also have
Jacksonville is going to get Travis Hunter. Watch out.
Yeah,
Take it up.
yeah. That's gonna be nasty because
here tonight or
boy,
tomorrow,
oh boy.
or up for
Yeah, I definitely feel
2026, but they have
This
options.
has the feel
And
of
Jacksonville
this has a
Jaguars
Jalen Ramsey
instead
type
have
feel
what
to
they
it
believe will be
to
the
me.
best player in the
Yeah, it
draft.
does.
Because I remember when
Moving up
Jalen
to
Ramsey
get
got
that type
picked
of
by the
player,
Jacksonville
a
Jaguars, and
huge
that
swing
defense started
from both
transforming into
teams,
something
but
that
both sides
was
believe
it
it's
took them
working.
all the way to the AFC Championship game.
So there's Travis Hunter there awaiting the call
So,
that we will expect to be hearing momentarily here from Jacksonville.
he'll be going to
What are your thoughts
Jacksonville.
on Travis Hunter now, it would appear, headed to Jacksonville after all this time. We
Wowee.
assumed
So
he
now
was
we got
going
that walking box of talent and athleticism.
That's an instant upgrade for Jacksonville. You got
Yes.
Trevor
Very.
Lawrence, that quarterback getting better. You know the Jaguars are getting their running game better. Now you got a two-way player that can play both sides of the ball, as I mentioned. That's an instant upgrade, and that puts Jacksonville right in that conversation as a playoff contender again. Probably even deeper now if you can stay healthy.
Potentially. It all depends on two things: the offensive line and Trevor Lawrence and his consistency. If he's consistent and that offensive line's consistent, then yes, the Jaguars have enough to definitely make the playoffs for sure.
This is the new National Football League. This is a
But
league
I
where
expect
we
them to
did
not be
used
done
see
in their
this sort of
secondary, though.
wheeling and
I
dealing.
think
This is right.
eventually in the first 3
Much more
rounds they could
commonplace.
potentially draft
Young
a
general
safety too.
managers in place, as was pointed out by Adam Schefter moments ago.
So
and one of the
we'll see
youngest
what
and
happens,
newest
but I
in the
think
NFL,
safety
making a
might be another
dramatic
position they
move
look
here. The
at.
pick is in the
And
Jaguars. Expected to
of
make
course,
it here.
second
Kenny
round might
Roller
look at
here from
another
Roger
offensive
Goodell.
lineman or
On
young
Monster
offensive
Entry,
lineman to
they
add to
chosen
that
to go.
mix.
Huge
Right.
trade being made immediately, and the commissioner
There's
making
an Eric
it wise
Armstead coming out here make
to
the
announce
pick.
the trade.
Uh-huh.
Sure is. It sure is.
In this year's
I know that. I know that big blockhead from anywhere. I'm kidding. But yeah.
Saw this one coming. This is so far the steal of the story of the draft. Jacksonville trades up.
Impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton
Hey, here we go.
Man of the Year
You know,
Award
Jacksonville don't like
presented by
don't like Eric
Nationwide
Armstead very much. You know
recognizes
that, right?
one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion.
Man of the year, but boy,
both
they
on
did
and
not
off
like
the
him very
field
much down there in
and in the
Jacksonville
community.
this past season.
Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
First off, Duval.
I'm glad he did that, not like his coach did the first time. That was horrible. Duval, that was horrible. So he was getting ready to go get on the love boat, man.
And also, too, tonight I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community, the league, and this world a better place. As we remember Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive legacy of your own. Thank you. We have a trade.
We know
The
that you're
Cleveland
there.
Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
They got their man.
They got it.
Yep,
Got
they
it. They
did.
got it. They did.
Isn't he from Florida too?
Funny where your mouth is, Jacksonville.
Isn't he from Florida?
That's right. They get two for the price of one. Star on both sides of the ball, but
I can't
making
remember he's from
history
Florida
is
or
nothing
Georgia.
new for
Couldn't
this
remember.
Heisman winner. He was widely considered the best player in the country coming out of high school in Georgia.
Oh,
Chose to
okay.
play for
He
Coach
played,
Prime at
yeah.
Jackson State, making him the first.
Yep, he's from
five-star
West Palm Beach,
ever
Florida.
play in
I
an
thought so.
HBCU.
I
Yep.
thought he was from Florida.
Yep.
So he's going back home, essentially.
Boy.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
goes.
he about to do work in the
Pink
conference.
blazer.
too.
With that stylish pink blazer he's got on.
Exactly.
Yep, yeah, that's
Right.
nice.
That is
Got that
nice.
Miami Vice look going with that pink blazer going to Florida, I guess, you know.
Man,
Right.
that's Tubbs, man. That's Tubbs, man.
Exactly.
That ain't
That's
Travis
my
Hunter.
show.
That's Tubbs right there.
Tubbs and Croc, that's right. Ricardo Tubbs.
Giants on the clock.
Yeah, he's doing everything out there.
He's
He's
a-
having himself a ball out there.
Yes.
But hey, yeah, I'm happy for that young man.
Yes.
Happy for that young man.
That's the underrated part of
Wow,
Travis
we-
Hunter. His passion
Wow,
for the game, his
Jaguars.
knowledge of the game, that football
And
IQ.
from reading up on Adam Schefter's report,
Mhm.
said the Jags are expected to play their first round pick Travis Hunter on offense and defense. They will onboard him by giving him a heavy dose of the wide receiver position while still playing him at his more natural position on defense. Two positions at pick number 2.
The ball never touched the ground.
So yeah, he's going to be playing. He's going to be able to do what he wants to do.
Natural
They're not going to tell him he can't do
coordination
it.
in ball
Basically.
Right.
I've ever seen in my life. And I've
That's
seen
true.
some great
Wow.
players. This guy
I still remember
truly
seeing him
is,
in.
as Dion liked to put
Did I
it,
see
he's
him when he was down in?
He's different now.
I don't know if I
He's
saw him
different,
when he
and
was
that's
in
why Jacksonville go ahead and
Jackson
went ahead and
State.
did what they did.
Right.
But they said, look, he's
Because
gonna
I
put
mean I
the
went
pads up.
I covered
Now, for the Browns, I said it just a minute ago, he's
the
2
classic
for 1.
down there in
That's
Memphis.
what you're getting.
Mhm.
And
I
you
saw
can
Shador. I saw
something
Shador a
you
couple
utilize
times.
that
So
Right.
I've seen
And when
Shador.
you get into
I've seen
it, I think
Shador
it's
do a
important to
few
talk about
things.
the stamina.
Right.
This
But
And how
I
do
think
you-
Travis was hurt. I think the time
Mm.
they were playing. They were supposed to play in Memphis at the Southern
Right.
Harris Classic.
Right. And how do you guys think that his game, from an offensive or defensive level, will translate? Essentially like his rookie year going into the NFL.
He'll be fine. I mean, I think the physicality, the biggest thing a lot of people talk about, but you also have to remember this ain't the same NFL where you're super physical all the time. So the biggest thing is the durability and endurance. They're still moving 100 miles per hour, so
Right.
that'll be something to watch. I definitely want to see how they kind of deploy him defensively, what their scheme is defensively, whether he's going to be playing a lot of man or zone, because he's an incredible zone corner too, by the way. Man to man, he's definitely solid there. Of course, when people run the crossing routes, things like that, it's going to be hard for any cornerback to keep up with those different things. But he definitely is a really, really good corner and a dynamic wide receiver as well.
Takes us down to the stage. Molly.
Thank you, Greeny. Travis, Jacksonville traded
Wow,
up to get you.
Wow.
What's your reaction to how
The
all of
conference
that
just got
unfolded?
that much tougher.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think. I honestly do not think Houston wins the AFC South next year.
What
Yeah.
kind of conversations
I
did
don't.
you have with the
Yeah.
Jags
I think
staff
somebody
about
else is going
where
to step
they
in there
see
and
you
take
playing
it.
for them?
And it could be Jacksonville, potentially.
People do want, yeah. Definitely.
Travis Hunter,
They
history
saw
maker,
the
first
prize, and they
player
was
in the
like, "We
draft
gonna do
year
whatever we
to
can to
announce
get it,"
both
and they definitely
positions,
did that.
receiver and defensive back.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
definitely. Well, yeah, definitely can say they went for what they wanted and they got what they wanted.
Exactly.
From
Yes.
Jacksonville. And we talk about the history that he is making.
Hopefully,
over
like I
there in
said,
the
it pays
shadow
off big
of
time in
Lambeau
10,
Field.
15,
The
20
legendary
years.
Green Bay
Still.
Packers. Don Hudson is the only player in NFL history to catch 400 passes and make at least 10 interceptions. He did all of
Come on, Giants. Let's get our guy now.
I know.
I'm probably gonna, I'll tell you what, yeah, the Giants, they definitely have the opportunity to get their guy.
They do. Woo.
They do, yeah.
Who you want to
They
be?
do.
Who you want to be? You want to be
1996 with the Cowboys. He made
Wow.
8 yards on both offense and on defense.
Honestly, I think they need to go get Shador to me. I
Right.
would love Shador to go there. They have enough pass rushing, I think.
Right.
They do need a quarterback, even though Russell Wilson is there. I get it,
Yeah.
but nah.
Right.
Russell can be an extra in Sierra's videos. Just let
You,
let's let
oh
Shador
Lord, no, no. He Russell still got some game in him, just so,
Sometimes he does.
Come on, Giants. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
After a very disappointing
Woo.
season, the commissioner is making his way to the stage.
Making his
After
way.
Cam Ward went number 1 and Travis Hunter went number 2. It's time to find out who's going number 3.
It'd be crazy. The two of the top 3 quarterbacks, two of the quarterbacks are trained together. Let's see
In
what
the
happens.
2025 NFL Draft,
You got me
the
nervous.
New York Giants select Abdul Carter,
Mm.
defensive end.
That's who they had him. That's who they had.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm concerned about him. I'm like, okay, in one hand, I'm like he could be like Micah Parsons.
Right.
And on the other hand, I'm like he could be like Courtney Brown. You remember Courtney Brown? We went to the Cleveland Browns in the 2000 draft. Never was healthy the entire time. So
So you're saying either he could be the best decision the Giants ever made, or one of the
yeah, he could be one or the other.
One or the other.
You're not comparing him to be. He could be. He's like. He said some say he could have a game like Lawrence Taylor.
That'd be nice, man.
That would be nice.
I just wonder. I know we talked about Travis and the game being less physical, but in the trenches, it's always going to be physical. So I just wonder how he holds up. Last year was his first year, really with his hand in the dirt playing defensive end. So I just wonder, how he holds up there. I think he's an extremely talented player.
Right.
He can do some extremely incredible things with his athleticism. Okay, why they teach Roger Goodell that handshake, by the way. He can do some incredible things. But I just wonder, with the hold up the athleticism. The athleticism, if it holds up to allow him to be on the field. So
Right.
they do have a nice defensive end pairing now,
Right.
with him and your guy from the West Coast. Why can't I remember that defensive end's name?
Yeah, look, Von Miller says it
Yeah,
all
it's a
the
former
time, right?
first-round
But,
pick as well for the
some of
Giants.
best players
Yeah,
of all
that-
time
that-
What is his name?
This guy can get off the
Michael,
rock.
you
And
remember
the thing
it?
that
You know what I'm talking about?
What's that?
He flat out
The
plays
guy
hard.
that's
When you talk
the
about
former
competitive
first-round pick
character,
that's a defensive end for
60
him now
minutes, this dude is
to go along
uncle
with Carter.
quarterback. He asked the Penn
For the Giants?
Yeah, for the Giants.
to put him at defensive end.
From the West
He
Coast, I
asked
know
for the
that, and I
switch.
cannot remember
They were
his
wondering
name
how
to
he
save
was
my
gonna
life.
handle when they put him in a six technique.
God,
And
last year
unfortunately,
you talking about?
when tackles
No, he
started
was our
coming down
first-round
on him
pick
and double
a
teaming
couple
him,
years ago,
whether or not he was gonna
and
be
plays
able to
defensive
withstand
end.
it and come back again and again and
Trying to
again.
remember his
He
name.
continues to get
I
better
can't
at
remember
it.
his name to
Is
save my
it
life.
Kayvon?
He's got speed to power. He's got
There you go.
Kavion. It was
Kavion.
Kavion. Yes.
Yeah.
Kavion,
So now
yes.
these two are paired together. That's a extremely athletic pairing of
Right.
defensive ends. Now I would dare to say
Mhm.
their level of athleticism is on the same level as a Josh Hines Allen and a Trayvon Walker.
Your dad
Jackson.
trained you your entire childhood.
Yeah.
What was that moment
'Cause-
like after your name was called with your dad and the rest of your family?
Yeah, it was surreal. I wouldn't be here without him. I'm just blessed. Thankful for my family. Thankful for everybody who helped me get to this moment. I can't wait to celebrate this moment with my family.
You grew up in Philly. You grew up an Eagles
Okay.
fan. How are you going to bring
now he's
the
playing for the
Giants
Giants.
back to
Yeah, I know.
dominance in the NFC East?
Not that
Look,
part.
you're getting everything,
Yes.
all the passion that I have, all the love that I have, all the excitement. On third down, I'm gonna get loud. I'm gonna get that big play, make my best pass rush, make that big explosive play.
All right, congratulations, Abdul.
We got a good pass rusher, so I agree.
Yeah.
Actually,
Thank you.
I actually
Abdul Carter is the
digress.
third
This is actually not a bad pick
defensive
for the
player selected in
Giants.
the top
Right.
three
Because their
overall by the
defense
Giants
has
in
been
this common
suspect the last
draft.
couple of
The
years.
It
Now they
is.
got a bona fide young pass rusher on that edge that can make some
Right.
plays,
Hunter is off
especially
the board.
in this
How about
division
his
where you
college
got Jalen
teammate,
Hurts.
George Sanders,
Right.
waiting
Yes.
to hear his name
What's his
called
name
for
from
round one
Washington
of
that's
the
taking
NFL draft.
everybody by storm right
Continues
now?
from Green Bay on
Talking
ESPN.
about
Jaden
Jaden
Daniels is
Daniels.
going to be a stud now. He's a stud. So, and then you got still got the good old Dallas Cowboys and their good old fan favorite there out there with Mr. Multi-million-dollar quarterback that they're not going to get rid of. So I think this is good that the Giants get a pass rusher on that side of the ball because now they can put some pressure on the opposing quarterbacks.
Right.
It's
That's
going to help
true.
them. I think they need a young stud on that end. I think this was a good move, actually. Plus, as we said before, guys, the Giants already made their picks. They already got their two quarterbacks. They have Jameis Winston. They have
Right.
Russell Wilson now. They have two bona fide veteran quarterbacks. One's a Super Bowl champion quarterback. So
The
Yeah.
other
people would say, how would Shador
There
have
you
fit
go.
in that system had he been drafted? You have three quarterbacks. Somebody's got to play the quarterback at least one time, right? I mean, you can't just sub them in and out like it's hockey. This is not like
Right.
we're talking about
Yeah.
a line shift. We're talking about rotational, putting guys in each set, each player, whatever have you. So
Right.
in this particular case, yeah, the Giants need to do some of the defense. They got their guy. So I'm actually sad. I'm actually happy that they did this because now the front office is listening to their fans and they're seeing that now, yeah, we got to beef it up on
Right.
the defensive
Yeah.
side.
That's
I'll tell
true.
you this. Looking at that team, I mean, definitely. I definitely understand the thinking as well in terms of that pick, of course, for sure. And I will say that Jameis is going to give you a lot of interesting comments, a lot of just interesting things in being
Right.
the backup quarterback for the New York Football Giants. Now, also, they did bring back Tommy DeVito, by the way, too. So
Oh,
Tommy
yeah.
Cutlass is sitting over there at third quarterback now. So
That's true.
so they did
Wow.
have a pretty full room.
Yeah, they have enough. They have two quarterbacks now, which is going to be interesting to see how they do during the offseason. Who's going to be the starting quarterback now? Because
Very.
now you got to worry about Jameis and Russell on the same team. Who's going to start?
Yeah.
That's going to be the big question mark at that position. Like, okay, you got two stars.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to get the first snap here?
That's true.
The Patriots already have their pick in, by the way.
Right. I'm like,
So
who do
they
you?
have their-
Yeah, and
they have-
they have Will Campbell, offensive
Mhm.
tackle.
I can see that happening now. Definitely.
Right. Yeah.
I can
Do you
definitely
think
see
they'll
that
ever?
happening now.
Yeah. Do you think
Even
they'll ever
though,
get back
what's
to their?
that?
Do you think they'll ever get back to their like Tom Brady era? Because there's
No.
one. Right.
Even before you finish that one, I'll be like,
Right. No.
no.
It's going to be a while
see it
before
no
they ever
more.
get back to that era of Tom Brady,
Right.
and they know it.
Yeah. That's true.
No, I don't think they ever will get back to the era of Tom Brady. They might mess around and get good enough to potentially win a title,
Right.
but no, I don't think they'll ever be that level of dominance again. And the thing that also is going to end up happening is they're going to find out some of the things that they love about Mike Vrabel as a coach, and they're going to find out some of the things they don't love about Mike Vrabel as a coach, because the similarities between him and Bill Belichick are there in terms of their style of talking to media.
Right. Yeah.
I've witnessed it firsthand in press conferences. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty much the same style. That's true. Wow.
With the fourth pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell, tackle.
Yep, he of short
Will
arms.
Campbell.
He
Yeah.
of short arms.
Yeah.
So if you look at him in his suit, you can tell he has short arms for a big man.
Right.
See, look at his arms.
He does.
Yeah, he does not have long arms at all. And as an offensive tackle, that's trouble if you don't have long arms.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, wow.
That's what I was kind of noticing. When you just seen him walk, he has short arms.
Very.
So,
That nice have Darius Slayton too, so they made a good chess move here with this pick at number 3.
right.
He's 6'5" frame.
Yeah, he is a 6'5" frame, but I just wonder if compared him to Michael Roos. Okay. Okay. Yep, I saw that guy play a lot here in Nashville. Who is that talking so hoarse, man? Jeez. Get that man some tea.
When it comes to pass protection. Now,
I think it's
there can be some things that show up that you're like, man, I'd like to see a little more physicality, a little more nasty, but
I think he's going to eventually end up being a guard.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think eventually he's going to be a guard. I think his arm length may end up being trouble for him.
Right. Wow. And next up, almost, it's going to be now the Cleveland Browns, who are.
It's like granted. The second thing is,
I guess they could
elite agility,
running back Ash.
When he gets beat, he can recover.
So Cleveland is up. Nah, I don't see Cleveland drafting a running back here this early.
Maybe a
I
quarterback.
really like running backs. Yeah, I think this could potentially be. Even though you traded for Kenny Pickett, you brought in Joe Flacco as a 1-year deal. I still think this potentially could be Shador.
Going to the Cleveland Browns.
But if I'm him though, I'd rather go to New Orleans.
Why New Orleans?
I'm like, who wants to? Well, I'm not gonna bag on Cleveland because everybody bags on Cleveland. But Cleveland, I don't feel they're. I like the division that New Orleans is in because I think they can compete a little bit quicker than what Cleveland can because that's a gauntlet of people that you have to go through the AFC North, and then plus look at the quarterbacks you got to go against. You got to go against Joe Burrow. You got to go against. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson at least twice a year. I'd much rather go to the South where I'm going against Bryce Young. I'm going against what's his name down in Tampa Bay. I can't remember his name for some reason.
Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, and then you've got Michael Penix, who's another young quarterback. So if I were him, I'd much rather go to that division as opposed to going to a division with some established great quarterbacks that are eventually going to be Hall of Famers.
Right.
And then also the stigma of Cleveland football going over and Cleveland quarterbacks. Yeah, I don't but hey, if he goes there, I know he's going to change things, but it also is still Cleveland as well.
Right.
And they've had like umpteen thousand quarterbacks since the year 2000.
Right. Not since the year 2000.
It is a need. Never want to be in this position.
Change of the century, but not change at the quarterback position and stability.
Yeah. And I know Deshaun Watson, he's battling injury.
No, he won't be back. I don't think this year. If he is, it'll be late. Because he basically tore his Achilles twice.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, his career is pretty much over in Cleveland, to be honest.
We need to track, obviously, what the Patriots are going to do in this draft. Let's get back to the biggest story thus far, and that was a trade that we saw a few minutes ago. The Jacksonville Jaguars moving up to the second overall pick.
So now Cleveland has more picks. They have 2 second-round picks now, by the way. That they gained. They have either 1 or 2 second-round picks they gained from that one.
Andrew Berry, who you see there,
signed Joe Flacco
and look, Joe ain't got. To me, honestly, when I saw Joe playing in the for the Indianapolis Colts, whatever he had, I don't think he had it no more.
Had it no more.
That is the anti-analytics move.
I don't think he had it anymore.
We're in the 5th pick now, so now Cleveland's on the clock.
Yep. I think this could be a Shador pick here, or it could be at 9. I think 5 or 9 is a good look.
Maybe they get their running back. They get Genty.
Right.
Was that you talking about the Browns?
Ashton Genty they probably get their running back.
Yeah.
Ashton Genty.
They could, yeah, because Chubb is coming off a serious injury, so yeah, I could see that definitely. Because and plus he likes to be. Plus Cleveland is very running back centric as well. So yeah, I could see this being Genty.
Yeah.
Let's see what he says.
Here we go.
We'll find out right now.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham.
Oh, Mason Graham.
Oh, wow.
Didn't expect that one.
Wow.
They had him going to Carolina.
Well, that was initially that's where they thought he was going, right?
Yeah, you know, they had him. One of the other ones I looked at had him, Mason Graham going to Jacksonville. So this is interesting.
Right, very interesting.
I
Not a
think
running
his
back,
style.
not a quarterback.
I think his style fits Cleveland. To be honest,
Yeah.
because he's a guy that he's not going to stand out in the lineup of overpowering big guys, but he does some things. Now I will say his arm length is an issue. That's what some people talk about, but to me, I'm like, hey, can you play or not?
Right.
And defensively, you're taking the battle more to people than you are offensively, in my opinion, because you got different things you're doing there in terms of pass blocking and all those different things. So he's very violent with his hands. He definitely is going to press you across the line of scrimmage. He's definitely going to press you at the line of scrimmage, I should say. So I will say this. I still think he's a little light in the cakes. He's gonna have to put on a little bit more weight than what he's currently at now. Because I think he's like the upper 280s.
Yeah, and he's like 6'3",
interior,
I think. 6'1".
Yeah. To be an interior defensive lineman, I think it needs you nearing about 300.
Right. Yeah.
But
right.
But again, no, his abilities may say he can do more. So
right.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, 296. He's pushing it. He's pushing that 3. Yeah. So do you guys give this A, B, C, or D grade overall for the Cleveland Browns?
I think this is a B grade because, as Mike just said, the Browns have really had issues on that side of the ball for a long time. So they need a spark. Graham is definitely a guy that can give them that spark.
Right.
I mean, you've got something that can clog up the middle there, which is good, but you still need some help on the exterior too.
Right.
They're going in the right direction though with this pick, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I like the pick. I do like the pick. Maybe they got strengthened in the trenches, and then I did forget. My bad. That he does have a wrestling background, so that is key in terms of.
That's why he's going to be husky right in the middle of that whole line. But now you got to get some exterior and interior linemen around him too to clog up that middle.
Right.
Yeah, you got Myles Garrett on one side, and you got him interior.
Yeah.
Wowie. So I do like the pick. I just I was thinking of other different things they need too, but they're still kind of a team that has an issue at quarterback. So that's something to think on as well. So.
I was about to say with that lineup, Myles Garrett and this pick, it could be a lot of trouble for the upcoming quarterbacks, whoever they face from a week to week basis.
I felt like on every single one that I saw that hit on NFL.com that we talked about on Mock Draft Live at 6.
Ashton is still out there running back. What team do you think really needs him right now? Running back.
Let's see.
Let's see.
The Raiders. The Raiders can get him.
The Raiders can certainly get a running back. They need a bunch of things right now. They need a quarterback. They need a running back. They need a whole house out there right now.
That's true.
I wonder if they go for Shedeur here.
Well, let's just say this: there was some speculation, guys, during the offseason that Shedeur was rumored to be going to Vegas. I think even his mother was pushing for that a little bit too, because here's a little nugget to that. Thomas Patrick Brady has a stake in the Raiders organization, and he has mentored Shedeur. In fact, case in point, Shedeur's first game when he was at Colorado. I'm gonna give you some nuggets right now, real quick, before they get this pick in. Shedeur's first game when he was here at Colorado was against Texas Christian. He threw for 510 yards. Right after that game, he got a text from Tom Brady saying, "Stay focused." So Tom has mentored Shedeur. So that's why I hear what you're saying to Pipney. This could be a pick for the Raiders to get Shedeur here. And that would make sense in that respect that now you got Tom Brady, although he hasn't shown much face around it, but I'm sure that they're getting him out. He would probably show a lot more face.
Right. Yeah, but I do remember seeing something about that him with the Raiders.
And also remember the deal with Geno Smith is basically a 1-year deal with the deal they worked out.
Ashton Jeanty.
Oh,
Ashton
there
Jeanty.
we go.
Wow. Here we go.
Oh, somebody who called? Was that you, Epiphany? You called the?
I did. I was like, well, as could Ashton, go to
Give you her flowers. She called it, y'all.
have a little draft dust.
he's a little smaller than what I remember. I thought he was like 5'10". He's like 5'8".
Like, he is really big, and I know because I've seen him play here against teams like Colorado State in the Mountain West. He is legit a big. He's got that skill set almost like a daggone mid-major Adrian Peterson, Saquon, and like I said, Maurice Jones-Drew.
I was just gonna say, those legs, Saquon.
Look how he moves. Look how quick those legs move. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's explosive.
Very much. Yeah, I saw where they put the comparison up there to Maurice Jones-Drew. I was like, nah, he's not the bowling ball like that. But he definitely is powerful now.
He's look at those legs how he's just running people over. That's power running right there. And in the Mountain West, he had to have those kind of skills because that conference is about running.
Right.
Mountain West football was about running the ball all the time.
He is one of the favorite running backs.
I'm glad for him, man. I'm glad for him. Let's see.
And he's a little husky right now. He bulks up even more. He could be a threat in the AFC West. And let me tell you, Vegas could probably shake some people up with him out there running the ball.
Right.
The thing I kind of envision with him, I know he's shorter than this guy, but I just in watching him run, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Josh Jacobs when he was at Alabama.
I was just about to say that, and the Raiders. He went to the Raiders as well.
Yep,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
He kind of does, and Josh Jacobs had like incredible speed when he was at Alabama. He still does have good speed now, but I remember him always being the backup, and then boom, he ended up was the starter for that 1 year, and next thing you know, he's a big time draft pick for the Raiders.
Definitely, yeah. Well, they have a good, good team of developing running backs, as you know. Josh Jacobs definitely.
Now this 7th pick is key because if the Jets pick Blake, I'm sorry, if the Jets pick Warren out of Penn State, then that'll be interesting. If they don't pick him, it'll be interesting to see what the Colts do because the Colts definitely have been talking about needing a tight end.
Right.
So, because I know they want Warren out of Penn State.
Right.
If they don't get Warren out of Penn State, which is fine, they're still going to go with probably Loveland, which is the tight end out of Michigan.
Okay.
So, but I would say this, and they got to watch right now, probably within the next maybe 5 to 10 picks, is Will Johnson. That's a guy to watch right now from the University of Michigan.
Right. I've been hearing his name too. Speaking of the Jets, what do you guys think? What is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Like, what is his?
Sit down.
Like, sit down.
Who cares?
Sit down.
Who cares?
Hey, thank you. You said it. You said it better than I did. Thank you.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
I told everybody that was going to be the case with the Jets. Though, do you know what that was? It was Brett Favre 2.0. Yep. That's the same thing years ago when they got Brett Favre. They thought he was going to be a difference maker. They thought he was going to finally turn the tide with that franchise, get them over the hump. They didn't have success when they lost. What was that quarterback they had from USC that they thought was going to give them was the next?
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez was the last good quarterback they had, and they lost him. They thought that Brett Favre was going to come in there and reinvigorate that franchise. And what happened? Got banged up, got injured, talked some stuff out of the city, and that's just what happened with Aaron Rodgers. Same thing, deja vu.
Yeah.
Jets took a gamble on somebody thought that was going to come in there and reinvent the franchise. They ended up selling tickets, getting a lot of media attention that they did not want in that city. And now look what happened. He's gone.
He's gone.
And in New York, you do not mess around with the media in New York City.
Yes, no.
They're just as bad as the fans. And let me tell you, they will chew you up and spit you out. They don't play when it comes to that.
I know. I guess that's why they say a lot of first, round, going to a big market could be a blessing and it could be a curse, and especially if you don't know how to handle the media really well. So yeah.
Hey, I would say this. Guess who else just had a good night?
Ooh.
That would be Kayvon Thibodeau, because he actually welcomed Abdul Carter, and then the Giants said a few minutes later they're picking up his 5th-year option. So hey, he's winning tonight.
He's definitely.
I'm telling you, I think the Giants are going on the up and up now. We still got a work cut out for us, of course, because we got to contend with Washington and Philadelphia in that division right now.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to be jokes anymore like we were the last 3 seasons. Quarterback controversy is gone. We got rid of the guy that actually shouldn't have gotten that kind of money, and you know what I'm talking about, which is why Saquon left Philadelphia. The wrong guy got the wrong money.
Right.
That money should have went to Saquon, not Daniel Jones. That's why that whole fiasco unfolded.
Right.
Can they stop? And then, by the way, since you brought Daniel Jones up, when he signed with the Colts, some people start trying to call him Indiana Jones, and I truly feel that is disrespectful towards Harrison Ford. So Harrison Ford, I ain't doing it.
To the franchise. They think he's going to come in and be a savior now.
Yeah.
And when I got even more information for you, you know, of course, Michael Pittman Jr. was working out this offseason. You know, they were talking about the quarterbacks and all those different things, asking him about it. You know, he worked out with Daniel Jones already this offseason. Because he worked out with Anthony Richardson? That answer is no.
No.
Which I think is interesting. Very, very interesting.
Very interesting. That is, wow.
I'm over here looking now to see if I can find this trade details for the
they have what's his name? Armand, offensive tackle.
Armand Membu.
Yeah,
I think Armand Membu, he may end up there because they do need the young offensive lineman very badly.
So.
But then again, the last one they did sign, it didn't work out. Or that's when they drafted. I don't think they did their medical homework on him.
Right.
He got drafted, didn't work out there. Then he signs with the Eagles for a 1-year deal and becomes their offensive guard for a championship team.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's like.
I'm trying to find.
Someone tell me that. Why am I getting the feeling the Jets are about to shake things up here with this pick?
No.
Yeah, please shake it up. I'm glad they do.
Why do I have a feeling that the Jets are going to shake it after we just talked about them just a minute ago?
Right.
Why do I have this feeling that I think they're going to do something crazy and shake You know what I'm talking about, y'all? You just got that vibe right now.
That feeling that it ain't gonna go. It ain't gonna go right.
Now we have not even that we've overlooked them for a while. And now all of a sudden they've been like we just mentioned, they were the talk of the media during the offseason with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And now they're going to do something that's going to shake everything up, and we're going to say, "What did the New York Jets do just now?"
Right.
Just to give y'all a heads up on this deal, and some people are saying that the Jaguars got fleeced on this one, but I'll just give you the breakdown. Well, I'll do that after this pick. But yeah, I don't like how much they gave up for that for Jarvis Hunter, but I understand it.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membu.
Yep, Missouri. Now, that could be great for the Jets, and that could be bad for the Jets because he is an extremely talented young man at offensive tackle. But he definitely needs some work. So there you go.
Maybe this Jets defense has been better, but they needed some work on the offensive line, no doubt, no question.
Yeah.
So is it like a B grade? Would you say?
I'll give it a B minus. It could turn to a B plus, just depending upon how he does. Because I mean, like they were talking about, he is a big guy and he can bend down and different things. But I think he's going to need a little bit of work on taking on pass rushers, especially with speed pass rushers.
Right.
I think he's going to need a little bit of work there. Because I mean, he's doing a few things now, and he's doing them against like lower level guys or guys that might not be in the NFL.
Right.
He's not going to be able to do all those things and get his hands on guys like that all the time. Like, you know, if you saw his pass rush things that he did, taking on the pass rush. Now, run blocking, of course, he'll be all right there. I ain't worried about that. Pass blocking and securing that edge, that's what I'm worried about. See, things like that. Right, they were showing right there. He wasn't necessarily getting his hands super quick on people and getting out of his stance super quick either. So he's going to have to work on that part. See, right there. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's right there in that position. An experienced defensive end is going to club his hands right off of him.
Right.
But just to give you a heads up on
how do you guys feel about like Justin Fields? He plays for the Jets, so and he's going to be Armand is going to be the one, and in sense of protecting him. How do we feel about that?
Very good offensive
team together. How was that?
He's set up for success with the Jets.
I hope they give him a great opportunity to actually be the starter and play him through his good and his bad. That's what I hope that happens to me.
Yeah. That's true.
I think that Justin, has learned a few things over the years. Did he actually come in the league to be a passer, I mean, I'm sorry, a running quarterback? No,
Mhm.
he actually didn't. He didn't run quite as much when he was at Ohio State. He just
Right.
ran a lot more when he was in Chicago because he was running for his life.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I think
Right.
he'll be. I think he'll be okay. Just to give you a heads up on the Jaguars,
Mhm.
they traded the 5th overall pick, a 2nd round pick, and a 4th round pick, and a future first
Wow.
for the
For
2nd overall pick and a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick.
The bottom line here is that the Jaguars were in I was telling somebody the other day,
Right.
the Jaguars are doing like a lot of teams in sports do these days right now, y'all. They're in a win now mode. They're not winning until the future. They want to build on it right now. They know that they have their best quarterback. They're building a foundation down there in Jacksonville. They know this is one of the cornerstones of that foundation. They're not taking any chances. They
Right.
want to win now, and they know their fan base has been starving for. Since you just mentioned Maurice Jones-Drew was the last good player they had there before Trevor Lawrence. So they're in a win now mode. That's why they gave up the house for Travis.
Like you're saying, they're not
I'll
waiting.
also tell you this. The Gladstone actually is a guy that worked under Les Snead out in LA for the out in LA for the Rams. So, you know, we know what Les Snead did in order to make that team good enough to win a title. The first thing he said, I'm not gonna cuss on your air. He said F them picks. And that's basically what I think the Jacksonville Jaguars may actually dive into a little more, given that the owner actually buys into that as well.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
If they do that and they go into the full F them picks mode,
Right.
I might be a little nervous if the rest of the teams in the AFC South, because they do have talent in Jacksonville. It's just a matter of, can they get the most out of that talent, and can talent stay healthy? I'm talking to you, Tyson Campbell. Can you stay healthy? So yeah, it just they don't have they have talent, but just people not staying healthy, people not playing up to their capabilities. Like, for example, Josh Hines-Allen gets a payday and he kind of disappears in the 2024 season, and then Trayvon Walker steps up. So it'll be interesting just to see what all they do with that talent that they have. They have enough talent to win the division. That's never been the question. It's just a matter of, are they going to stop being Jacksonville? Which that's not a bad. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but just their history.
Right.
That's why.
And like you said, now the Panthers. Like you said, Mason Graham, he's already going. They had him, so
I suspect they're. I don't know where they would go right here.
Right.
I don't know where they're gonna go.
There'd be more defense, more offense, or.
Well, they did spend some money defensively this year, so it may be an offensive pick on this one. Might be.
I just tweeted just now. I just tweeted about Shedeur on Twitter just now. Somebody said that he'll still be there by the 2nd round. That can't possibly happen, could it? Shedeur end up in the 2nd round?
It's possible, but I don't. Yeah. It's possible, but I don't see him if he's there at 20 and Pittsburgh is picking. I don't see him getting past Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and they have him 21 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I don't see him getting past Pittsburgh.
Mike Tomlin would mold him into a good quarterback. That's for sure. If that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think he fits what Tom. I mean, so many people talk about his this and his that and the other, and they talk about a lot more stuff that don't have anything to do with football. It kind of annoys me when I hear people talk about Shedeur and then they don't give me one reason about football. That tells me you never watched football. One, and then second, that tells me that you don't like him for other reasons
besides football. That's true. That is true.
I mean, what is he supposed to be? A quarterback that doesn't have any confidence?
Right.
Doesn't have any swagger?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
You wouldn't want that as your quarterback, essentially.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
some if they take Sanders.
Carolina Panthers select Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver.
Oh, wowie! I did not expect him to go this high.
Oh,
I didn't expect Tech to go this high because the Tech started dropping down the board.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, he's not. Yeah, his name is
And
They do need weapons
Oh,
for their
they-
young quarterback, though.
They had him
They
at
do need
12 going
weapons.
to Dallas.
Dallas fans are not very happy right now because they thought they
Yeah.
were going to get their wide receiver weapon to go with
Dak
to go with
Prescott.
CD. It was
CD
CD Lamb.
Oh, yeah,
To go with
CD
CD
Lamb.
Lamb.
Oh, yeah. That'll-
They thought they were going to get another weapon to go with CD Lamb. So,
Yeah, wow.
well, well, not Jacksonville, but it's going to be interesting to see what Dallas does now because I wonder if they have a game plan or
Bryce Young's got a
plan B.
receiver now, right? That's what that means.
Yeah,
Bryce Young's got a receiver.
Him and Country Grammar together, man. I'm sorry. I call Xavier Leggett. That's my nickname for him.
That's
Country
your nickname.
So that's what I call them. So so
Wow.
now you got Tech McMillan and Country Grammar out there.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Wow. The Panthers.
man, look, I wonder if Tech gonna mess around and have to eat some possum at the because Country Grammar be eating possum now.
He be eating possum?
He for real eats possum, yeah.
Oh wow!
Dead
Oh
serious.
man, that would be something. That's his welcome to the league. Rookie. Welcome in. To the Panthers. Wow, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, we go. Well, I'm pretty sure that somehow, some way, the story is going to come up again about him maybe not liking football and stuff. And I'm like, man, look, you got to also remember he's still a young guy. He'll be all right. And you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to love football, but you're not supposed to be everything. Football is not supposed to be everything.
Everything to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
I
true.
will say that. I will say this. I'm sorry. I'm watching this draft, and I am thinking about one other thing that has nothing to do with. Well, it's something to do with football, but just not to do with football in the NFL.
Right.
That's the movie Him. That's getting ready to come out in September.
I saw that.
I'm so ready to see that
I
movie.
saw
What movie
that.
is this? What movie is this?
Him.
Him.
With, it's coming out in
Marlon
September.
Wayans.
Marlon Wayans, yeah, and what is his
It's
name?
it's another Jordan Peele movie.
Yes. Did you guys see Sinners?
I have not saw Sinners
I've
yet.
not
Please
seen
don't tell me
Sinners
about
yet,
it.
but I know it's
I
been
wanna
getting a
see
lot
it.
of reviews.
It's good.
And I know it's a horror movie, which I'm not a big fan of horror movies, but
Yeah, me. You know what? I wasn't either. And then I'm not gonna lie, there was some parts that was like ooh, jumpy, but other than that, like it just like one part. Other than that, it was
that's what they're saying. It really wasn't that bad. Like,
right.
that's why I said I might want to go see that. Maybe, it's not streaming on anything right now. It's in the theaters, right? You can't stream it on Netflix, right?
Right. Yeah,
That's all you did.
Yeah.
5 months ago,
The Saints are up next.
Can I just say something on the subject before we continue on with the draft? I think it's good that we have this going on because we need that distraction from a certain somebody who's been in the headlines for the wrong reason the last 28, 24, 48, 72 hours.
Right. Yeah.
I think this kind of has to take some of that off now, right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly what you're talking about.
Because that was becoming the talk of everyday discussion in sports with him.
It's true.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Well, in this
I
case,
don't
I'm
ever.
glad. Yeah.
I'll never have those discussions anyway. I just sit there and watch people have their own diatribes, and I just politely go ahead and slide on off the internet.
Yeah.
Me either. People ask me, "What do you think about them?" I have no. I'm like, hey,
no comment.
I'm not debating
It's
that.
ongoing. It's all I know.
Right.
That's all I tell them.
Right.
I am. I
Right.
distance myself from that controversy. Like I have nothing. Not gonna get into it.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's like that. You can't involve yourself in everything.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of those things that I have nothing that people come talk to me and ask me about different stuff sometimes, and I'm like,
Right.
I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I have no opinion there.
And I know what I say
I'm
can
not
be
getting
easy
into it.
misconstrued these days. People take things you say out of context and they'll twist it around for their own liking. And all of a sudden, you become a headline on social media. Hey, such and such said this about this. You see this? It's like, no, I did not say that. I didn't even have a comment on it. But you just took the words that you thought were what you wanted to be, and you just made something out of nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to throw me on the bus here.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't even.
That's the other reason why I stay out of these conversations too, man. Same reason.
Right.
Not pulling me into that discussion. Nope.
I just sit and read and watch and listen.
Yep, that's what I do. Sit
Yep.
back and just read and watch and just go on about my life.
Yeah.
Yep, I observe probably more than I actually talk on those different subjects because I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I'm like that too, bro. I'm like, no, I don't say much. I just sit there and I observe and I internalize stuff.
Right.
I take notes internally and I don't see it. I don't say it, but
because you see the same patterns with a lot of people when they talk about certain different things. You always do. I notice that every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the Saints are out.
With the 9th pick,
They have
2025
Michael Williams. I don't know if that's
NFL
true.
Draft. The New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr.
Oh.
Tackle, Texas.
They needed a tackle.
Yeah.
They did need a tackle though, because they did have one of their tackles retired just now. So
Wow.
yeah, like
Saints are in full rebuild mode now too, so they really need somebody with the spark.
Right.
This also means that they're committed to Spencer Rattler.
No.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler and Derek Carr.
Spencer Rattler.
Ugh.
Oh.
I'm not a, I've never really been a fan of
Right.
Spencer Rattler.
Mm.
I wasn't a fan of his at Oklahoma. I wasn't a fan of his at South Carolina, and I definitely was not a fan of his in New Orleans. So I still trying to figure out what is the special sauce with him. I don't. I see the talent, but I just don't see the consistency. It's almost like I see him the same way a lot of people see Will Levis in terms of not being the guy that's going to be like the guy. He's just in there, basically.
Yeah, just yeah. Okay.
Sometimes he's a little too passive, and he lets pass rushers like he
And
did
up next is Chicago.
saying-
He's not a puncher.
Mhm.
Will Campbell is a puncher. He's a catcher. You can't do
People
that.
saying right now the Jaguars must have probably made a mistake here with giving up all those picks to Travis, but again,
Yeah,
desperate times call for desperate measures.
Right. Because
that's a lot of people saying that one.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people saying that they got hosed in that deal, but
I think the backfires if Travis gets injured. That would be the only thing that would make this backfire. If he gets injured. If he stays healthy and makes an impact, then he makes everybody look like liars. But if he gets injured, then conversation restarts with saying, no, they got hosed.
Exactly.
Now, I'll tell you this too. Big thing for the Jaguars is if Tyson Campbell gets injured again, because Tyson Campbell stays getting injured. So if that happens, that means that potentially Travis Hunter may end up playing more defensively than what they originally had planned.
Wow.
And that's why again they got this two-way this generational player that they have now because he's going to be the jack of all trades. Looks like if that's the case.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the jack of all trades. Just I'm not sure they want him to focus on him being the number one guy just that quick. That's where I was thinking because they need Tyson Campbell to stay healthy, which they just paid that man like he's a top 10 or top 5 or top 10 corner in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think he better stay healthy. Or eventually he's going to be flew in the coop.
Yeah.
Who's up next? The Bears are up next.
Yeah.
Now we know they're not drafting a quarterback. We know that.
Right. They have Tyler Warren tight end.
Now I would say they got Cole Kmet. They just gave an extension to. So I don't know if that one works. And then plus they have the ageless one playing tight end for them as well.
Right.
That would be what is his name? God, I forgot his name. He was a first-round draft pick for the Jaguars like a long time ago. Mercedes Lewis. There we go. That dude's 40 years old, still playing tight end in the NFL.
Tight end, yeah.
Your team destroy another.
That's true.
Without further ado, everybody get it together, mark your calendars, set your alarms. The schedule will be dropped on
May 14th.
There we go.
Goody. We could have done without that. So
Yeah.
can we get the pick, please?
Okay. Next.
Yeah, can we get the pick, please? Come on now, folks.
Now,
But
why
I will
do
say this. I will say the Bears did work in their offensive line this offseason, though. I will give them that. They went to work going to get some people. They got a top center. They got Jonah Jackson. They got another guard they traded for too. So they definitely knew what they needed to work on, and they went to work on it pretty expeditiously.
I had the same reaction.
Right, exactly. That's true.
That's what I'm looking forward to. The Giants fan, the Broncos, they come out to play Denver this year. Russell comes back to Denver again.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
that's
that
gonna be
game.
fun.
That's what I'm looking forward to out here.
Right, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be fun.
I'm already looking forward to the date, so I'll get me either a pass or tickets for that one because
Right.
get a Russell Wilson shirt. Like I said on social media, I was like, I'm gonna get my Russell Wilson shirt beforehand. It's like
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's like we're around here around Broncos country.
Right.
Right. I walk in front of Broncos country out here.
Broncos country, I know, man.
See, we're almost to the 49ers pick.
They love their team out here. This is a Broncos state. You
Right.
got 16 teams, but this is all about the Broncos here.
I'm getting ready to. I gotta watch the basketball games in a minute. Gotta watch this Denver Clippers game.
Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael.
Mongo.
My heart is with
Mongo
the McMichael
passed.
family during this incredibly difficult time.
Forgot them was playing this Friday. They gotta win tonight too. Oof. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to be in Green Bay tonight because we gotta cover these. I gotta cover these other teams. The Avs lost, the Nuggets lost. It's like
Yeah.
trying to have one of these two teams make a deep run this year out here.
Warren is sliding. So if Warren gets to the Colts, man, they're gonna race up to get that pick. Because they see Warren as a Dallas Clark type tight end.
Steve McMichael's teammates and closest friends. Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State.
Yep. Jackson State. Okay.
Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards.
Yep.
And
Sweetness.
110 touchdowns.
Man, that dude had some footwork.
With the
He
Chicago
would not
Bears.
go down.
As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor Sweetness, not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Colston Loveland.
Okay.
Wow. He went over Warren?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I am shocked on that one.
Wow. And they had
He
him for
went
number
over-
13 going to Denver. And
He went over Warren.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Wow.
will say this. Will it surprise me if Denver tries to move up to get a tight end? No, it will not surprise me if they try to move up to get Warren.
Right.
But, is a long shot to potentially happen? Yeah, but it
Yeah.
would surprise me. But he's
Right.
more of a receiving tight end. So, now they've got two tight ends that basically do receiving stuff. Cole
Right.
Kmet and Colston Loveland. But of course, then again, this is Ben Johnson, and he's a mad scientist on offense. So
Right.
this may be what he wants to do. But
Right.
now you've got two receiving tight ends in Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. So
Right.
interesting pick indeed. You went
Very.
wide receiver with your pick last year. Now you go tight end with your pick this year.
Right.
Interesting.
Like City went over. Yeah.
Hey, Michael,
3 picks.
I don't know about this pick, man.
You talking to me, Mike? You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to
You
you.
don't know
I
about
like
this-
the talent. I like the talent of the pick, but was this something you really needed?
Well, you got
That's
a
what I'm
tight end
saying.
now that you got a tight end. I mean, most
They
good
just
teams
paid
do
Cole
good-
Kmet. They just paid Cole Kmet and locked him in as their starting tight end. So you just spent another first round pick at a position you really. I
Probably
don't know if
insurance.
you really needed this.
Probably insurance. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of these teams are getting. I've seen a lot of that as a trend now. A lot of these teams are getting two players at two positions. I think they're doing that now for insurance sake because if something happens, then you got a backup at that position.
Right.
Because you don't want to be shortchanging yourself if you don't have another tight end and when the start tight ends goes down. Then use the backup.
That's true.
Right.
So I see a lot of teams are doing that now. I think that is smart. It's like having, it's like now you go to the grocery store, you like to stock up on stuff in case one item runs out. You got a backup.
Right.
That's what these teams are doing now in the sense that
Wow.
they're keeping their position
right.
stocked up with backup just in case
Right.
it happens.
Yeah. Just in case, like I said, the first pick goes down, you have the next
Right.
one.
We have another one. You have another option, right?
Yeah.
So this way you're not scrambling to find, okay, we're having to worry about having to spend money to make a move or a trade or work the free agent market. You got somebody there already on the staff that you worked with, and now can mold into that starting role maybe. Get out there.
Exactly. Well, now San Francisco is up next, and they got, they think
Will Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, you think
say Will Johnson?
Will Johnson? They have Gray Zabel, offensive tackle.
I wouldn't be mad at that either. Now, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I am a 49ers fan, by the way. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're like me. You're just covering the Titans because you live in the city, but you're more of a 49ers.
I'm in the area, yeah.
Yeah. Like I cover the Broncos. I live in Colorado, but I'm a Giants fan. So.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I can't say I cover just the Titans though. I cover pretty much the whole division. So, but I do that because they basically come on TV here pretty much often. So if it ain't the Titans, it'll be the Jaguars. If it ain't the Jaguars, it'll be the Texans. If it ain't,
Yeah.
Do you cover other teams in that state?
What's
do you
that?
cover any other teams out? Do you cover the Grizzlies or do you cover the Panthers? The Predators?
That's a little too far for me to cover the Grizzlies, to actually get there and be there. So
How about the Predators?
Predators, I've been trying to get in there for the longest of times. That is a fun conversation I had there. I have to tell you about that one.
Brother, let me tell you, I had to break down some doors to get out here to cover the Avalanche this year, so I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Now I do cover. I will say this: I do give the HBCUs love, and I do cover Tennessee State football and basketball.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it last year because a little few things were going on behind the scenes. But this year, definitely going to be covering TSU football and TSU basketball, and then in football this year, they have a new coach, which is DC Defenders, former DC Defenders head coach Reggie Barlow is the new head coach of Tennessee State, replacing Eddie George, who went to Bowling Green State University. And he's bringing Greg Williams here, who used to be the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans when they went to the Super Bowl. And the offensive coordinator is coming, I believe, too. I believe most of the staff that was the DC Defenders staff is coming here next year it was coming here after their season is over to be the staff for the Tennessee State University. Also, right now, the interim head coach for DC Defenders, he's a former Tennessee State quarterback. So it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up here as well. Shannon Harris is his name. So definitely will be covering Tennessee State football. They're coming off their first piece of an OVC championship in like 25 years. So last year, their first playoff berth in a long time. And the most wins they've had and got about 20 years too. So they're coming off one of their most successful seasons. A lot of attrition when it came to the portal, and of course Eddie George leaving, but there's still some talent on this roster, and there's still some talent that they're bringing in as well. Plus they're playing against North Carolina A&T next year in the John Gray
that's
Classic.
Gonna be a good cover. Yeah,
they're playing against Howard for homecoming. And they're also playing against Alabama A&M next year in a new classic they're getting put together.
That's gonna be good.
So it's definitely going to be some fun times down there. And they play at the same stadium the Titans play. So,
Right. Yeah. Okay. Probably make my way back, down to Tennessee. My uncle who lives there.
I can't wait till Howard game happens, because last year what happened is they went to Howard. They went to Howard and beat Howard at Howard on their home field.
That was our homecoming game, by the way. So I know.
Definitely was
All
our
right, Mike,
homecoming
that's enough
game.
of that now. That's enough now. We ain't got to talk more about that game. I was there, and I watched this.
My bad, man. Nah, they was telling me about it, man, but they was telling me about it.
Yeah, I mean, they need defensive
It'll
tackle.
be interesting how they look this season. I'll say that.
Right.
I think Howard has a really good shot to actually beat them this year, just because they're replacing a lot of pieces.
They are.
Yeah.
Last year was a setback because they were just wasn't good enough. So I think they are going to win in the act this year. Although I wonder what Michael Vick's going to do with. Is he still coach? Michael Vick's still coach at Norfolk State now, right?
Yeah, he's at Norfolk State, and Deshaun Jackson's at Delaware State.
So now we got to worry about those two with the recruiting trail, because that's going to help them big time.
Definitely.
You don't want to play for Michael Vick now, right? You're going to play at Norfolk State will be playing for Michael Vick.
He got a quarterback there, I think, that transferred there. I can't remember where he came from, but I think he got one from a high level to come play for him.
San Francisco
Right.
49ers draft pick. Back to you in Green Bay.
Yeah, boy. Why am I just feeling like I'm going to be disappointed by this pick?
But it's
I just feel I
Let's
have
see what
that
they do
feeling.
here.
man. What would
I can't
disappoint you?
believe we got Mac Jones as a backup. I'm kind of
I know.
sorely disappointed in that. I hate that.
Thank you to our men and women who serve in the United
Mac
States
Jones.
military for
No, sorry, I gotta call him McCorkle. He gotta earn Mac.
our country's
Yeah.
freedom.
I can't call him Mac yet.
Yeah.
No.
With the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Some of it
the
is
San
over.
Francisco 49ers select Michael Williams,
Oh.
defensive end, Georgia.
Okay.
Hey, we needed a defensive end. So yes,
Right.
I am with it. I am with it. I am with it. That is a big man.
Yeah.
That is a big
6'5".
man.
Wow.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
we basically we don't have a pass rusher opposite of Bosa. So
Right.
now you put Williams there, and it gives you an incredibly athletic guy.
Mhm.
Now, of course, he's going into a system where you got Robert Saleh.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
coming back to be the defensive coordinator. So this guy fits probably exactly what he wants to do.
Right.
I'm all for getting an edge rusher.
Yeah.
We
Give
need
it
it. We need it. I just need him to show up and show out. That's all I
Right.
need.
Right.
I
Has
need him
any
to
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Defensive end,
I
right?
need, yeah, he's a defensive end.
Mhm.
We need one. I need
Right.
him to show up like Alden Smith did. That's what I need him to
Mhm.
show up like Alden Smith did in your rookie year, and you will have
Right.
no problems under me. Don't show up like he did off the field after the other stuff. Now. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just show up like he did on the field. That's all I need.
Yeah, on the field stuff is perfect. Has any team disappointed as of yet, or every team has been like you kind of figured that they would pick that type of player?
I am so ready to see this guy on the field. So
Yeah.
we need somebody because Leonard Floyd. I liked Leonard Floyd. He was cool, but he just wasn't it.
Yeah.
I wasn't very high on that signing. I like Leonard Floyd, but I just wasn't very high on that signing.
Right.
So, let's get a young guy. Let's put him in there and let's see what he can do.
Let's see what he
I
do.
thought Will Johnson might go here too, though, because we do need another corner.
Right.
But I will say that we've not been horrible at developing corners, but we've
Right.
gotten better over the years.
Yeah. And now Dallas up next.
Okay, so yeah, I thought the Saints could go.
Ain't that crazy? The Hatfields and McCoys drafting back to back.
Right.
How about
Then since McMillan is gone, so
Who's going to have their hands on who's responsible for?
He's a two-time second team All-American.
Mm.
Or two-time second team All-SEC guy. I'm sorry.
The Dallas
Right.
Cowboys, they're on the clock. Here's the pick.
So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with this pick. I just hope I hope he shows up and shows out. That's all I want.
Right. Yeah.
If he shows up and shows out, you will hear no complaints out of me.
No complaints, yeah.
Let's see who Dallas
With
gets.
the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
I'm kind of nervous.
the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
Ooh, Dallas fans is not happy.
Oh boy, I know one person who's seeing it right now.
You said one
Dallas-
person?
Ashley Baker. You know who that is, Mike. You know
Ashley might not be
Ashley's
happy
gonna
with
pull
this
his-
pick.
Ashley is going to be pulling her hair out right now.
Yep.
Oh my
Ashley might
God.
not be. She might not be happy with this pick. And even though I will say he is definitely a great pickup
Mhm.
in terms of the size and everything. This dude is losing his mind running.
I
Up.
know. Yeah, he is.
Dang. He
Celebration.
look like he get. Is it just me or does he look like he getting ready for a video or something?
Oh, yeah.
He running through there. I'm
He
like,
ran
man,
through there crazy.
where Bone Crusher and all them at from Atlanta? Where they at?
Go to them, say, I'll make sure
But
For sure.
get things handled here.
but yeah, this will be interesting. He is enthusiastic.
He
There you go.
is
Be
very much
enthusiastic, big fella.
enthusiastic.
There you go,
Yes.
big fella. Be enthusiastic. There you go.
Very
Be enthusiastic, big fella.
As well. So
Dallas,
But,
here he comes. Yeah.
But I will say,
He said Dallas fans probably not the most excited.
I wondered. I thought they might go with Warren here.
I'm sure
Mm,
I thought they
yeah.
might go with Warren here at tight end.
Right.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay, so Brian Schottenheimer is
I really thought they might go with Warren
Marty Schottenheimer
here
is
at tight end. Now they going with Booker.
Booker, yeah.
Booker wasn't projected to go this early, I don't think.
No.
either.
Yeah.
If you're the Dallas Cowboys,
He was projected to be a first round pick, just not this early.
Right.
to be able to do that.
This will be interesting, but this also may be a sign of them going back to using the running game more next year too. That's what it also may be.
Right.
The way that you have to
Oh.
close the gap.
Yeah, the way that.
We'll see what happens, but
Right.
I'm not. I would say you might want to get yourself another playmaker.
Mm.
Yeah, because CeeDee Lamb's still out there by himself at wide
Right.
receiver.
Okay, so do we have answers here? I look at the last
Yeah, he is.
three
Yeah.
first-round picks for the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Creighton, Tyler
Mm.
Smith, Tyler Booker. Have we
Wow.
now officially answered offensive line for this organization? It's been a problem.
By the way, we're still waiting on Shadur Sanders.
Right.
Yes,
You guys heard too much
In
about.
case anybody's wondering, we're waiting to find out where he's going to land.
Wow.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is
12
true.
picks in, he has not been taken off the board yet.
Mm.
Now you say he might go to Pittsburgh at number 21, but
Yeah, I
that's
think
honest
he gets
question.
past
What if he
Pittsburgh.
does not?
You say you don't think it's. You don't think he gets to 21?
If he doesn't get picked,
You don't think Pittsburgh picks him at 21?
If he doesn't get picked by Pittsburgh, then
Right.
yeah, he has a really is a really good possibility he goes to the second round.
It's not going to be a lot of pull, get into
Wow.
space.
And
we
like,
saw
yep,
Tom on
picked,
Nembu.
yeah,
There's some other
21.
players
Wow.
who will do
Yep.
that. But when you have him, you're going to get downhill and you're going to get physical. He can.
I don't think Miami's going to take him.
Mm.
Attack. Think about this.
It actually wouldn't be it actually wouldn't be a bad fit if he actually went to Miami, to be honest.
Mm.
It wouldn't be a bad fit. Yeah, Shador wouldn't be a bad fit in Miami. To be honest. That offense would fit what he wants to do.
Right.
Well,
I would say this.
I guess that makes sense in a sense, yeah.
And they moved up.
Plus, you got Tua. Tua has, Tua in health. I'm kind of, it would say some things if they drafted him as, if they drafted Shador, it would say some things in regards to what they think of Tua.
Right. Wow.
I would classify as a blockbuster when we move up to the second overall pick. And I get it.
I wonder what they're going to do with Jalen Ramsey too. So
Yeah, that's the
But
question.
Miami,
Yeah.
we're not seeing.
no, Jalen's from here, so
Is it fair to assume?
Yeah, from the.
yeah, he's from the Nashville area. Yeah,
Yeah.
A whole lot of movement for a lot of these franchises.
School, Florida. Yeah. Mm.
yeah. I couldn't believe he never really even considered Tennessee. To be honest, never
Yeah.
really did.
Yeah.
But he's from here. He almost went to Oregon. He was committed to Oregon at one point.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
the
His
thing
Yep,
with him,
Ashley losing it.
what's that?
Ashley's losing it right now.
Oh, she is, huh? Yeah, I figured she would.
He's in a unique position.
Oh
I'm
man.
getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to go look at it now. So
Draft those positions. Not
Somebody said, "Where is Shador Sanders?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's
for the next defensive tackle.
I'm getting ready to go look now. One
You're
second.
already going off right now.
Selection as of right
Yep,
now.
I'm going to find this. So I'm going to see.
Still come here on Draft Center, presented by FedEx.
Yep, I see.
going
And
crazy."
here's what I don't understand either. Why would Coach Prime want to go to coach for Dallas right now with all the stuff going on? Really? You really think he wants to be part of that dysfunction right now in Dallas?
Right. Yeah.
Yep, she is very, very frustrated.
He's
I'm
going off right
reading
now.
it
Look at her.
now.
She is teeing off right now. Woo.
Yep, she sure is. Yep, she's not very happy right now. Oh boy. But she should expect this from the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's the Dallas Cowboys, right? What would it?
Best
it
player
wouldn't be the Dallas
available.
Cowboys if they didn't do anything dramatic, right, or anything crazy. It just wouldn't make sense.
Yep.
Yep.
They went to a guard at 12.
At 12. Yeah.
Now, I will say this. If you have a horrible offensive line and you don't have other needs, yeah. We'll get you a guard. That's cool.
Yeah. Right.
But they still got CeeDee Lamb out there by himself.
By himself. Yep. And I was going to say, what about this wide receiver? They have a few wide receivers. Matthew
Yeah, they had
Golden.
They had Golden. They could have went with tight end. They could have went with Warren at tight end.
Yeah, he's still and they had him go at 10 and he's still waiting.
Man, the Colts are salivating right now because
I was about to say the Colts. Yeah.
If he goes to the Colts are going to absolutely lose their minds. Colts
Right.
fans are going to absolutely lose it if he goes to them.
Wow.
Because that is the exact guy that they want.
Right.
Exact guy that they want. Colts fans have been talking about him, and they didn't think he was going to slide to them.
Right.
But I kept saying, I was like, watch, it could potentially happen.
Yeah.
That's when the Jets didn't pick Warren, I was like, oh yeah, he might be sliding right to him.
Like I said, hope was never lost.
So it's pick number 13 now or 12?
Yep.
12?
13.
13.
Oh, 13. Okay. Got you. I don't know who was pick number 12. Did I miss that one?
It was
I'm sorry.
Miami.
That was the Cowboys. Never mind. That was the Cowboys.
That was the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Okay.
Never mind. So
13.
13 and 14. And
Wow.
who's at 13? 13 is Dolphins.
13.
Okay.
Yep, the Dolphins. Yep, Miami Dolphins. They went.
13 is the Dolphins, and
14.
this will be fun to
Federal
watch.
Draft Center, Green Bay, Wisconsin, the site of
Dolphins, the
draft.
Dolphins.
Dolphins on the
Boy,
clock.
oh boy.
Linebacker Brooks, Mike Gamble.
Why do I think they're going to pick like a linebacker? No. This might be Will Johnson right here. Michael, this might be Will Johnson right here.
Which was taking quarterback.
This might be Will Johnson.
And I think they're trading. I think Miami. They're trading this pick to Denver.
In the draft. Now, going at number 2.
Oh, that means Denver's getting Tyler Warren then.
That's a good pickup for Denver.
Right.
Yep.
That would be a huge pickup for Denver. They get
is
him.
long one the tight end.
Right.
So if that's the case, and they trade this pick, then yeah, they're going to get Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren, Denver. Yes.
Let's see here.
With the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan.
Who?
We were going back
Kenneth
and forth
Grant.
with this.
Well, Michigan guys going in this first round now, let me tell you.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
That program stays
I
stacked
tell
with
you,
talent.
but,
That's why they get all these draft picks in the first round.
Did you? Oh, y'all should see the. Oh boy, God! You should see the Miami Dolphins fans that are in attendance. They weren't even excited. They were looking around like trying to figure out who this was.
Wow.
Hey.
One of these teams that is really desperate for defensive line.
Wow.
And I have to be
Wow.
honest, I think the tape is a little.
I did not expect this. What kind of suits he wearing? They got the crosses on the suit. Okay, all right, it's not bad.
It's
Not
not.
bad. He's
Yeah, that's everybody's asked. What do you think was the best dress so far tonight? They were saying Travis's suit was nice in that pink.
Yeah, Travis's was nice. I'm more of the plain guy, so Cam was cool with me. Cam was cool, but I like Travis's more because the pink stood out.
The pink, yeah. It
And
did.
I would say Ashton Genty. I liked it was a little
Oh,
flashy,
yeah.
even though I did not like the Crocs, man.
The
Didn't like
Crocs,
the
yeah.
Crocs. But everything else was cool. I just didn't like the Crocs. Crocs was nah. Everything else was cool.
Yeah, I definitely love the pink.
Former D lineman who understands what he potentially could have, and Grant. And when you think about,
Oh my goodness! I know I got work to do when I get off air tonight. I got
Me too. I still got to put together a copy for the morning when I find out. That's the other thing. I'm just waiting to hear you. That's what I'm saying. I need to know where yours going to end up so I can do my stuff for tomorrow.
Right.
Right.
I already got Travis. I'm just trying to figure out what yours going in, and I'll be set.
Right.
Right. I gotta cut a couple clips. Probably do one for the Jaguars and then one for the Titans, of course. But Titans one I might wait because where I'm gonna be tomorrow, so I might wait for that one.
Right.
I might talk a little bit about it. I don't know. I'll talk a little bit about it, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the Colts are gonna do now. The Colts. This should be Tyler Warren.
Right.
This should be Tyler Warren. They even got their pick in already. They got their pick in already. This should be Tyler Warren.
It should be.
If it's Tyler Warren, if it ain't Tyler Warren, then I know Colts fans is gonna be mighty upset.
Right. Yeah.
but he understands and knows the weakness.
And they have Shamar Stewart
Who?
potentially going to Indiana.
No, that's too early for him. That's too early. That guy's a walking box of potential. but he only
yeah.
had one. I don't know if it, that's a lot of potential. You're taking a 14 over a position you need.
That's
They just
true.
drafted Latu last year anyway.
2025 NFL Draft. The Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren.
Yep, no
Yep.
brainer. No
There you
brainer.
go.
No
There you go.
brainer.
Yeah.
Colts fans are in
Are
euphoria
rejoicing.
right now.
And he goes.
Colts
to
They're
fans are in
rejoicing.
euphoria right now.
Wow.
I think they've got to be.
What's got their guy?
They got
Yep.
They had two of their needs. The big needs, I think, were right guard and tight end. And when Colston Loveland went off the board and the board started to
That's a
fall
good
the way
pick.
that it fell,
So
it
A
looked
plus
Tyler
pick.
Warren was going to get to the Colts. I thought it was.
Oh yeah, A plus pick for them.
Yes.
They haven't had a good tight end. I can't remember the last. They haven't had a good tight end in years.
Years.
And they keep drafting them. They drafted
Right.
Jelani Woods. They drafted
Right.
Granson, Ogletree. They drafted so many tight ends that thinking they were going to be the guy and never were the guy.
Right.
That's
They
fine, I'll do
wasn't.
that.
Wow.
He's got really good ball skills. It kind of gets lost a little bit. Some of the catches he can make. He makes difficult catches through contact. Very good in the combat catch situations. But what I really like about
Colts
him,
got to be in heaven right now with this pick.
Yeah.
nasty stuff if he needs to, and the dirty work.
Yep,
And I
Colts
think
got to be in heaven because he does everything you need at a tight end
Right.
position.
Wow.
Woo. Man, I'm kind of like,
Mhm.
man, I know the Titans got Cam Ward, but
Right.
looking at the other pieces that other two teams got,
Yeah.
that might not be good either for the Titans,
Mhm.
especially with Tyler Warren and then of course Travis Hunter.
Right.
So he's going to have to find another throwback number. He cannot be John Riggins in
Lot
Indianapolis.
of-
We'll see what he can come up with.
Let me see.
But he is a
This
nice
is 5.
pick to help.
Tight end.
Man, give him 44. Give him 44, please. Please give
Right.
him number 44.
Find more completions.
Because Dallas, I don't think they retired Dallas Clark's number, so I don't think
Right.
they did. So if they didn't, please give him 44 because he fits that to a T.
Is there somebody that does Tyler Warren remind you of a current tight end in the league or a former tight end in the league?
No, former tight end, he reminds me of Dallas Clark. That's exactly who he reminds me of.
Right.
He reminds me of him, but he's a little taller, a little bit more lean than Dallas Clark is, but he does all the dirty work.
Right.
But he's more kind of, I would say, versatile in terms of he can do different things like throw the football and all that type of stuff because he actually was a quarterback at some point in time
Right.
during his football playing career.
Mhm.
With a good young quarterback, it's a safety blanket, and that's really
Yep.
important.
I mean, this is huge for. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is huge for Anthony Richardson. I'm not gonna say this is gonna be Daniel Jones. I don't want to say that
Right.
because if he wins that position and they yelling about Indiana Jones and all that stuff, then it might be over for it. It's over for Anthony Richardson in
And they're
Indianapolis.
showing us to do it right now. See?
Yeah.
Drafting Michael Penix.
He's still there. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not going to
Man.
Atlanta. I mean,
He's not going to Atlanta, not going to Cincinnati, not going to Seattle. Yeah, all of them are not going to. Oh, hold on. No, not going to Seattle. No.
yeah.
I
Not
thought
going
about
there.
that because I thought about that for a second, but I was like,
Right.
nah, they just signed Sam Darnold. They
Right.
don't want him to be the backup and just be there. So
Right.
nah, I can't see that happening. So
Yeah. True.
mm-mm-mm.
Like you said, 21 it's sitting there. It's Shedeur Sanders happening.
The board is breaking for them.
Yeah. Wow. Next on the list, they have Jalon Walker going to Atlanta, edge rusher.
They need a pass rusher, so that fits them perfectly.
Yep. And then for Arizona, Emike he's a wide receiver going to
Oh yeah, the guy from Ohio State
right
going to what team did you say?
Arizona.
I can see that. I mean,
Yeah.
that dude's just consistent.
Right.
That's just what he is. He's just consistent. You
Yeah.
put Marvin Harrison. Well, you drafted a wide receiver last year, Marvin Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they're going by the Detroit Lions model of draft a wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah, that was Detroit. But of course, they hope it works better than
Mhm.
what it did for Detroit.
Exactly. And then New York Giants have Jackson Dart.
Mhm.
He's a QB.
New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants got another pick in the first round.
That's what I say. Yep, via Seattle. Yeah.
Did they make a trade or something?
That you know what? That's what it says. And like I said, like even with Denver, they said, well, it was Miami, but they said Miami is Yeah, that's and then
Let me look real quick because I'm looking around like.
Girl just senior just put a tweet out there that's getting people talking. I think I hate to change the subject, but she says no African American woman on the NFL draft coverage.
Yeah, Josina put that out, and I saw that too just a second ago. And yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. It's almost like when I was watching TV here and they were doing like the ABC going around to every different team. I was telling Epiphany, I saw one black person. One. 32 teams, you got one black person in the newsroom to talk.
And that's why we still have these discussions to this very day in 2025.
Right.
It never ends. In the climate right now, I shouldn't say we should be so surprised by this.
Right. You're right.
The nature of this climate right now socially is making it so that we shouldn't be too overly shocked by it.
Right.
That's true. You're right, man.
Unfortunately, I think that way, but this is where we're at now.
That's true.
Right, Mike, you got Mike Epiphany. We just gotta keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Yes.
We got your back. We know the sisters out there trying. Keep doing what y'all doing out there.
Yes,
that's right.
Just the fact you invited us on your platform tonight speaks volumes.
Oh well, thank you guys for joining. I'm glad. Yes, definitely.
This has been a lot of fun tonight, Max. This has been great.
Yes, definitely. I said we definitely need more, representation in all spaces. So,
like I said earlier, I'm out here in Colorado. We got 6 pro teams out here. There ain't too many black faces covering these teams.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's got to be frustrating.
Well, I look at it like this. Someone's got to hold the baton and just carry that baton until someone else gets inspired by whoever's carrying that baton.
That is true. I know for me personally was seeing Lisa Salters. Like she was my first black woman, brown skin, just I was like, and she covered boats, and that really just inspired me to do that.
She broke down a lot of her
Pam Oliver.
Yes.
Pam was a trendsetter, I think.
Right.
Yes, very much.
Yes.
He got everything going for that. Yeah.
I would love to actually have a conversation with her one time.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would sit there and let her talk for hours.
Right.
Yep, that's right. I'm looking around to see if anybody can connect me.
Yes, yeah.
I'm always looking around for that.
And if you get connected with her, let me just be in the corner and be like, let me I know I have this story. Like my first NFL game, I went to go see the Philadelphia Eagles play the Giants, and I saw Lisa Salters. She was walking, down below, and I screamed her name. I was like, Lisa Salters. I couldn't do anything. I did, but she looked at me. I got real starstruck. I was like, what do you do now? So I just waved, and she just waved back. And that was it. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, hold on. I know another team that's probably might be looking at a quarterback too. It might be the Rams.
This is
with Matthew Stafford, he's kind of dealing on them last legs. So that could be another one right there.
Right.
Other than that, I don't see another one outside of Pittsburgh that needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
And it is his show, and there's still
So I definitely think Jackson Dart or Shador or both of them could slide to the second round. Just basically how the board has fell so far. Yeah, they both could potentially fall to the second round, and Cam Ward could be the only quarterback going in the first round, which is
going to the
wild.
First. Wow, very wild. Wow, definitely. I would say maybe to a lot of people.
League.
Yeah,
in a quarterback league, that's nuts. In a quarterback league,
quarterback leagues have only one. In a plethora of quarterbacks are, very willing. Yeah.
They have opportunities to take homegrown talent.
But they know them. They've seen them all. Okay, officially.
So hypothetically, if Pittsburgh doesn't draft Shador Sanders, who would they get? Like who?
That's a good question. I would say probably go after. I wouldn't say a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I would say if Will Johnson slides to them, I could see Will Johnson going.
15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker, defensive end, Georgia.
Yep, I can see that. I can see that pick. But if Will Johnson, I'm just looking around and people are sleeping on Will Johnson. They're thinking about how he did in the draft and the post the pre-draft workouts, things like that, and health wise. And I totally understand that, but that guy is a baller. That guy is a playmaker. And you need that type of guy on your team. Now they talk about his top end speed and recovery speed in terms of playing defensive back.
Right.
You don't really need a ton of recovery speed when you're in the right place all the time, which he is.
Right.
So,
Right. That's true.
So we will see what happens, but I'm really high on Will Johnson.
Right.
And I think he's going to be an excellent corner when he gets to the NFL. But somebody's got to give him a chance first, though.
Right. Yeah. Which team do you think is more likely to give him a chance?
Honestly, looking at the board, let me look at the board one more time again. Just look at the board.
Like Arizona's up next, man.
Arizona could always use them. They need defensive help they can get.
Right.
They need a lot of defensive help. So Will Johnson is the best available right now. So
right.
Let's see. Looking at the teams, you got the Bengals. He potentially could land there. The Seahawks.
Yeah.
I can see the Seahawks going. I can see the Seahawks going with Golden.
Okay.
Going with Golden at wide receiver as wide receiver. I could see that potentially that happening.
Right.
I probably might be just speaking a little out of turn, maybe potentially, but Tampa, I could see him going to Tampa. Honestly, you can make a case for him with any of these teams here.
Right.
They're left over for Will Johnson to fit that team.
I don't know who you can see there, the team's general manager. Once again, I think shocking the NFL world a season ago with their first selection of Michael Penix. This one more in line with what we thought. How close are they, at least in your guys' mind, based off of the roster?
Hey, is Ashley still going off? I kind of went away from it right now.
Yeah, I don't know if she is now. I kind of pulled away from that because when is she never not going up about her pull up
the Cowboys?
This is true. You are correct.
She does. Every other day is something about the Cowboys. She was so sold that she thought that Coach Prime was going to become the head coach. So I'm saying to her, no, he's not leaving to go to Dallas. He's not going to leave here to go work for Jerry Jones and let him get this crap all week, every week.
Yeah.
He did that for 12. He did that for a long time now. That man's happy. He said in his press conference, by the way, on Saturday at the spring game, he's happy to call Colorado home. He loves it. He's very happy here. He's content here. He controls the vibe on that campus. Anywhere he goes on that campus, everybody follows his lead. That's why, by the way, I told you, Pippin, I was able to ask that question because he was about. They were about to cut it off after his last answer, but then he said, "No, can we get another question, another brother?"
Right. Wow.
That's why I raised my hand. So
yeah.
I said that's coach because he was the one that controlled that press conference. From
yeah.
Don't put limitations on how many questions can get asked, but if you want somebody ask another question, like, no, can we get one more? And then they'll listen.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It's what he says goes.
Right. I guess like I said, for him, it's kind of nice to have that,
and he understands that. And I was really proud, and that's why I'm like, no, this one was for you because I'm like, I'm glad you got me to answer that question.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Did you see Micah's expression when they drafted Tyler Booker?
It's interesting. I was actually
Micah
Parsons' expression. It wasn't the greatest expression in the world. He was trying to figure out what's going on.
What's going on?
Was like he was doing his hands kind of like this and a little bit too. I was like, oh boy.
Oh man.
6-year play.
He leaned back in the chair, did the lean back in the chair and all that stuff too.
Did it not?
I was like, good Lord.
Because when I saw him at his best, one, he had big hands.
No, you were
watched
thinking.
him in the playoffs against Texas. He lit Texas.
He was phenomenal.
And that kind of lets you know what potentially he could do next.
But that's a good question because it was such a deep quarterback draft last year. But Michael Penix, to me, Shador's just on the outer portions of this year's draft. Michael Penix was right there, but obviously the Falcons, liked him a little bit more than me. I had Bo Nix was the only quarterback only other quarterback I had ahead of him.
All right, we had the conversation about teams that maybe go and move up. We've only seen one trade. Arizona right now on the clock. Just for context, since we were talking about quarterbacks, Buck,
They have
Arizona
been
here,
kind of wild
Cincinnati,
receiver.
Seattle, Tampa Bay, Denver. None of those teams think quarterback. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when we start talking about Shador Sanders, maybe a Jackson Dart.
That's the only spot. I mean, the only spot we're talking about right now is Pittsburgh. That's the only one we know that for sure needs a quarterback.
Meanwhile, the Arizona
Is that Booger McFarland talking?
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it.
It sounds like it.
Sounds like he losing his voice too.
Let's see if Arizona, they're
Oh,
going
my
to stick to their
goodness.
guns of a wide receiver. They're going to pull a.
With the 16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
They have Emeke.
the Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan, defensive tackle.
Ooh, D tackle. That guy's a nice player.
Right.
I like.
yeah.
I remember watching him in the SEC.
Right.
That is a big boy that can move.
Mm.
He can
Yeah.
move.
He can move. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big
Okay.
boy that can move. He
Wow,
does
okay.
things.
Yeah. I can see what Arizona's doing there instead of, wide receiver. They went to.
Yeah, he's got his burst up the field is nice.
Right.
But that's not a good comparison if you're being compared to Namdi Madabuke. Well, no. He's right. He's getting compared to him. That's actually a good comparison. I was thinking about Robert, the dude that was at Ole Miss and his brother was there. I was thinking about that dude, but no.
Right.
He's compared to the Baltimore defensive tackle,
Mhm.
Namdi Azubuike. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that dude makes it happen up
It's
front.
gonna be good. Yeah.
He's powerful. He's powerful. And he be marching through there like he owns the place.
Right.
Through the middle.
Right. So you
And
think
with,
they made this was the best
Oh, yeah.
decision instead of going for wide receiver? Yeah.
That's a real good decision for them. I think they can find a wide receiver later in the draft
Maybe.
because Nolan, you gonna know Nolan is there. You
Yeah.
gonna know Walter Nolan is in
Uh-huh.
that defense. And he made some incredible plays for Ole Miss last year.
Right.
I'm like, geez, that man that big moving that fast, and then. And the thing that you're watching in his tape,
Right.
that man can get skinny and slide through gaps.
Ooh,
Takes
yeah,
on
that
double
was-
teams.
yeah.
He can slide and get through gaps and things like that. But he also can take on double teams and he can overpower people as well.
Right.
Nolan might have been a guy
Mhm.
that they with that pick. Which direction
Yes.
are they going?
So yeah, he's a guy that I would say fits what they want to do.
What they're looking for. It.
He wants to. He's a guy. He's a bully ball guy.
He's a
Yeah, he is a bully ball guy. You definitely can
Right.
use him for that.
Use that for that. Bengals up next.
Mhm.
They have an edge rusher, Donovan Ezrazuke. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I had a feeling Warren was going to slide tonight.
I'll tell you what, if Shador goes to the second round, that's going to be the talk of the draft too.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the whole thing tomorrow,
Right.
tonight and tomorrow, I should say.
Yep. And you know who's not going to be happy?
Who's that?
Coach Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, Prime's going to.
No, y'all. When they held that event out here a couple weeks ago, they meant business. They wanted to showcase that here is a quarterback that is legitimately could be a top 10 pick. And we already know about Travis Hunter.
Right.
That was their way of trying to showcase. No, here is what you guys should want to draft.
Exactly. Yeah.
Again, I don't know. We can play politics about this all night if we want to, but
Right.
if he doesn't get picked up by Pittsburgh, of which many are saying, like us are saying right now,
Right.
something in the water is not going to be tasting good tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah.
I suspect there'll be some chatter about that amongst a lot of the teams, and then, like I said, I'm sure Coach Prime is going to. He said he's going to stay. He wants to stay out of it, but
Right.
I don't think he's going to be happy with his son going to the second round when he should have been. When he believes he should have been first round pick.
Right. Yeah. Especially, I guess Pittsburgh would know what they would need, but I can see them picking. Why would they want to pick anybody else?
Yeah, there's always those discussions in those rooms. Like,
Right.
do we want to take a chance on him? Like, why do you want to pick him? Do you want to draft him? What do you expect we get out of him?
Exactly.
That's why there's always that second thought or third thought that goes into your head about something that you're going to make a decision on. It's like, oh,
right.
Then this, but then well, then how about the? Or
there's only one name. There's only one name I could say in that whole time of everything that would make people think even harder. One name. That's Mason Rudolph. Do you want Mason Rudolph to be your starting quarterback? That answer is no, emphatically. So
yeah,
I would much rather go with the rookie.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
we'll see what happens. And then also, Michael, one other thing to look out for: a team trading back into the first round, because it could happen. A team trading in the first round to get somebody they just absolutely feel they got to have.
True.
That could happen too, huh?
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, it could happen when it comes to Shedeur as well. But
I mean, yeah.
One thing also I'm taking a look at too is, I wonder. A lot of people are talking about offensive tackle or offensive lineman for the Houston Texans. And I keep telling people, I'm like, look, have y'all not thought about a particular gentleman that is played in the SEC, and also think about the lack of bodies at wide receiver? Luther Burton III. I thought about him potentially landing with the Texans.
Right.
They need wide receiver. I mean, Christian Kirk is playing wide receiver for him this upcoming year, but he hasn't been healthy in 2 years.
Right.
You got John Mechie III. It's he's his second year being healthy. Talented guy, but do I think he could be your number 2 or potentially number 3? I'm not sold on it all the way yet.
Yeah.
You have Xavier Hutchinson, another guy from Iowa State. He drafted him the same year that they drafted Tank Dell. And like I mentioned, Tank Dell injured, probably won't play this season or at any point.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I think I'm going with a wide receiver.
A wide receiver. Yeah,
And you can fill your voids in offensive tackle and stuff like that in the second, third, and fourth round because you have a deep draft. So,
right. And that's exactly what they're trying to get for the first round, like I said, offensive tackle.
Here we go. Here go the Bengals. We'll see what they do. Are they really playing that song? I'm so tired of hearing that song.
That's all.
Yeah. They can say that for somebody else. I'm good. I am good. Good.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart, defensive end.
Wow. I didn't expect him to go this early.
Right.
I expect him to go in the first round.
Right.
I didn't expect him to go at 17. He's a physical specimen though.
Right.
Although this is a really freaky guy, Bucky.
He's got great athleticism. He's just got to play at a better weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing at he's a 6'5" guy, and he tried to play him at he tried to bulk up to 270, 280 and stuff like that, and that just wasn't About 260 is where he needs to be because he's more explosive at that size.
Right.
And he makes tackles for loss and things like that, but he's got to up his production in terms of getting to the quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I will say he only had 1.5 sack. That's all he had. Every single year he had 1.5 sack.
Right.
That's literally what he had.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting to see what all they do with this defense, because Al Golden is the defensive coordinator. He used to be the coach at Miami.
Okay.
Miami. And he was the coordinator for Notre Dame last year.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
That's right. Is the Bengals? Is that like a team that also needs?
Is that the Bengals pick now? Shamar Stewart. Okay.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart. I mean, I would say if I were them, I would have picked probably a more established guy because they need help right now defensively.
Right.
And this guy can make plays. I'm not saying he can't, but he isn't a guy that's shown he can step up and be a leader of your team in terms of getting sacks, tackle for losses and things like that. Yeah, I think he can show up.
Right.
But he's not a guy. So say if Trey Hendrickson doesn't come back,
Right.
or you have to trade him.
Mhm.
You don't have a guy that's consistently can get to the quarterback and make
Right.
plays.
Yeah.
Now, he gets pressure on quarterbacks, but he doesn't make plays consistently in terms of finishing off the play.
Right.
That's the biggest thing when it comes to Shamar Stewart and watching him over the last couple of years at Texas A&M.
Right. Yeah.
So if he ever get to where he can finish,
Right.
yeah, you definitely got a guy on your hands. And
Right.
You got a guy that can definitely take things to the next level. So
Right.
we'll
you
see
give
what
it-
happens.
So you give it like a B plus, B minus pick.
I give it about a C.
A C.
It could turn into a B if he actually gets out there and actually is a better off the rip than anyone thinks he's going to be.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a lot to invest.
Yeah.
The
17.
Ravens took him, and it took a little while for him, but he hit the double-digit sack mark this year. So sometimes it just takes a little while.
Let me see if that's going to be a trade because it looks like that's this. Whoever they pick, it's going to whoever Seattle picks is going to the Giants.
Change of direction.
Going to who?
Going to the Giants. Whoever Seattle picks.
For body control, and so
This
he'll
pick
run
right
by a bunch
here.
of sacks. And I asked him, I said, Craddock, is that something that can be fixed? He said,
That's going to Seattle.
He said, you see it,
Going
but
to
it's
Seattle.
hard sometimes because instinctively, guys, instinctively, there are some guys who just all gas, no brakes, and that's one of the things that he's going to have to
It's
understand.
going to
is
Seattle.
learning to dial it back a little bit because he's got so much.
Unless they traded.
He's got so much explosiveness that he can.
Oh, Shamar Stewart's mom. They're talking to Shamar Stewart's mom.
And at 100% because he controls it better.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
And
I feel
his
like
and his dad.
His
I think
dad.
this is his dad. I think this is his dad.
a little bit of that same.
Yeah, it's his dad. His dad. I ain't want to mess around and just assume it was his dad.
Right.
But might have been a father figure or something of that
Right,
nature. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh dang, I just says his dad. It ain't.
Right.
Now, this is a team who, once again, is already.
Do you think Seattle? Well, Jackson Dart. He's still on the list.
Smith, who's leading the charge.
He is, but I realistically don't think this is a quarterback pick.
Yeah.
They've got what's his name there? They've got Drew Lock. They brought back to be the backup.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Wide receiver Golden is still there.
They have so many different guys.
Let's see.
And I'm sitting here and I'm just trying
They want running back. Hampton.
Gray Zabel is certain there. Is that little, it seems like a little soon for Zabel, but Zabel's ability to play center could help.
All right, who's the selection? Back to Green Bay we go.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel,
Okay.
North Dakota State.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
More line help. More line
Right.
help. Okay.
My mock draft because my 3.0 was much better than my 4.0. Like, because what happens, you get to the end and everyone's like, oh, we got to freshen it up and this and that.
And
And
my
3.0,
thing's
I
too.
emptied the bucket and now here I am. I'm having a bunch of these misses because I had Gray Zabel going there. Guy has 5 position flexibility. He can play anywhere on the offensive line that you want to see. Small school standout, dominated when he had opportunity at the Senior Bowl. Very impressive during his time. He's gonna have a chance to start somewhere on that offensive line.
Mm.
He, I mentioned this in Pat to the draft, Bucky. He was one of those guys that I was lower on getting out of tape, and then I get to the
Mike, I'm looking at the Micah Parsons reaction now. Yep.
You know,
That was not acting. He did not look happy.
You get
Nope.
good on good.
Not at all.
Senior Bowl,
And he still ain't got his paycheck either. So
Mhm.
that's why they're even more
Oh,
upset.
there's that.
Yeah.
prospect. He'll be a center or guard. He'll be a guard for Seattle. They have a desperate need for a guard right now, but can play center. Might be able to get you out of a game at tackle if it's an emergency.
I'm looking over here. I'm reading something about Brian Callahan when he first met Cam Ward. He said this is what he said. The first in person we had with Cam Ward at the combine was super impressive. That moment was the first time I felt he might have what we were looking for.
Mm.
So the first time he met him, he knew what time it was.
That was it.
But Zabel's name just sort of popped up. You talk about an offensive line guy who really takes a lot of pride in coaching those dudes up. So certainly not a huge shocker that we are talking.
The closer and closer it gets to Pittsburgh, I'm like, ooh.
Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
They are on
We're getting closer and closer.
Hopefully.
Getting ready to I honestly have missed a lot of NBA basketball tonight. So
Right. I
turn it on. I'm gonna split
right now. I gotta check the scores.
Right.
I'm gonna split the screen. I got the Knicks. I think that game is over. I think.
Oh God, I'm nervous too.
I'm nervous to even check the score right now. I'm typing the word Knicks.
I know, right?
Oh no, we won.
Yes.
Oh,
I was like,
won?
118, 116. Yes. Yep.
Won by 2 points.
118, 116.
116.
Down on the road. Well, let me
I'm
tell
trying
you
to figure
something.
out what the story was.
But I was afraid of this first round matchup because I know the Pistons are a scrappy team.
Right. Yeah.
They are very scrappy. They're young and aggressive, and I knew they were going to give the Knicks fits.
Oh, him and Paul Reed got into it tonight. Cat and Paul Williams.
Really? Oh my gosh.
They let's see. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at the little chippiness that happened.
No,
I'm trying to watch it now, see what happened.
Yep. I was afraid that Pistons team was going to be very scrappy and aggressive because they're showing it.
Very.
There it goes. Yep. He pushed Dennis. Then he pushed Tim Hardaway Jr. and then all of a sudden now all the Pistons want to come over to him.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of that, a little bit of yada yada. Really wasn't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some more chippiness too. He set a screen and laid out one of the Pistons players.
Right. Wow.
Carl Anthony Towns hit. He hit Arthur Thompson in his mouth.
Oh.
And then of course well, they got the pushing and shoving in the first quarter and everything too. A little bit. I'm watching it now. Carl Anthony Towns came out and set the tone tonight.
Wow.
Oh, he set the tone tonight. Yeah, he did.
One of those
then Paul Reed and Mitchell Robinson got into it, and then Cat pushed him off of Mitchell Robinson. And that's what kind of got it a little revved up right there.
Wow.
I like it. I like when it's the high energy like that. That's why I like the Rockets and the Rockets and Warriors series.
They were scrappy last night. Yeah, that was
a little chippy. Even though Draymond can be a little extra to me.
Yeah.
But it just But Karl Anthony Towns had 31 and 8 rebounds. And Brunson had 30 and 9 assists.
Wow.
And then Bridges showed up tonight. Bridges had 20 points and 7 rebounds.
Right, and that was
Bucky Brooks and Mike Ham with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Looks like the pick is in, which we will get to in just a moment. Remember, another division crown.
They have Tampa Bay to have Mr. Matthew Golden going to them.
They need another young wide receiver, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's their biggest need, though.
Drafting Jaden Daniels.
I don't think that's their biggest need, to be honest.
Yeah.
Loving the selection.
I'm about to turn the split screen on so I can see both these games because I don't even know if I want to watch the Memphis and Oklahoma City game.
Yeah.
That's
been ugly. That's been ugly.
It has been.
Oh, Memphis is up 10 actually. Memphis is actually up 10. I'm shocked.
Really?
Yeah, they're actually up 10 right now.
Wow.
But I mean, it's the first quarter, so I think they're coming out inspired, but I think the Thunder will come back and win this game.
Yeah, that is the drafts ready.
Yeah, that game's not. Yeah.
Was that Prime or was the Sun? Right?
Yeah.
Yep, they'll come back.
It does feel like we're waiting. The antithesis of what we saw a year ago.
I mean, I wish
let's go to the Denver and LA game. I'm going to the game.
This draft feels like it's dragging on. Doesn't it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it's already 9 o'clock. I ain't even made dinner yet. I'm looking around like, dang, come on, so you ain't done it.
I know. Hopefully, I was hopefully, man, Pittsburgh, please.
Gave them the freedom to take the best.
I don't see nothing
available. And when we looked at the draft coming in, we said, look, if he doesn't go to Tennessee, New York Giants.
Do you think it's intentional
at 9
that they dragged it on this long, or is it just the way the cookie crumbled, so to speak?
For the Pittsburgh Steelers, then it's anybody's guess when he or Jackson.
Man, this funny part is I got a clip out here right now talking with somebody in my last episode talking about the Colts wanting Tyler Warren. Literally, it's out there right now. We literally talked about this earlier in this week before the draft started.
Wow, before the draft even came. Wow.
Yeah, I knew they wanted Tyler Warren. It was just so flagrantly just thrown into our faces that they wanted Tyler Warren.
Wow.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Okay. I wonder what this says to them down there.
No, nothing wrong. Look, this surprise. I am a little surprised, although maybe not necessarily about the destination. Although when I go to NFL.com and I see all these needs and they all happen to be on the defensive side for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they decide to go with a wide receiver who, by the way, depending on the time of the year, this is one of the guys that we were talking about as
Be right back, guys. I'm just going to go get a drink of water. Be right back.
Perfect.
Okay.
He's really been rising.
This is my halftime show.
I think once into the process, Bucky will tell you, coaches sometimes can see it different than front office, or they prioritize different things. Egbuka is a team-first player. He is one of those players who is very, very clean. He checks a lot of boxes. Pedigree. He is polished. He is going to be first.
And they were going to get a wide receiver anyway, so instead of Golden, they went with Emeka.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I thought defensively they would make a pickup.
You could make the argument for why you drafted a wide receiver. Well, obviously they know that you have to score to win at the highest level against the best teams. And what Tampa looks like they're doing is saying, let's just go get some more firepower. I mean,
Here we go. We're stepping into the 20s.
Firepower to win in the NFL right now. It's just
Let's see. We got but is it Tampa Bay? Now Denver is up with number 20, right?
Right.
Okay.
They're in the NFC.
In 21.
If you make it into the AFC, if you end up playing in a Super Bowl, you're going to be playing a powerhouse coming from over there. So it's a little surprising.
Man, I can't believe they got the Nuggets and Clippers game on NBA TV.
Wow, the best. Yeah.
That's so disrespectful.
It is.
Charles Barkley was talking about that too. He said that was so wrong that they put that on NBA TV tonight.
Right.
It was, but I think they already had them. I think they already had them scheduled out that way. But even then, it still was wrong.
Why would you?
Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen the Intuit Dome up close in person?
I have not. It looks like, I heard about that place. Every season has a charger.
I've seen it up close in person. I haven't seen inside of it, but I was out in LA and saw it. I mean, it's incredible looking.
It's nice.
It is truly incredible looking. I know somebody that's covered them covered a couple of their games a couple times. They have like the little ports for your phones and all that stuff, and all the seats and everything, and the stats going around the top of the circle, little circle above you, like the advanced stats. I'm like, man, I would love to cover a game there at least one time.
Mayfield's happy, I can tell you that.
Well, first wide receiver
Yeah.
by the Bucks.
But the people that don't have NBA TV, they're stuck with the Grizzlies
and the Thunder.
They got it. That's on them. They got it. They'll be all right.
Well, fortunately, our cable network out here, our regional sports network, put the games back on cable out here so we can watch all the Nuggets and Avs games. They were off the air for like 6 years out here, Altitude Sports. So a couple months ago, they finally came to an agreement with our largest cable provider out here to put the channel back on. Because for the last couple of years, we were only restricted to watching them on national TV, or we had, unless you had satellite TV, which was not the case out here in Colorado, you were pretty much out of luck. But they finally came to the senses. At first, what they did, they started simulcasting the games on local TV channels out here.
Right.
And then a couple months back, they decided to put the channel back on the cable box system out here that carries all the, like our main cable provider out here is Xfinity. So we finally got an agreement with them. Now they put the channel back on. So now we can finally watch all the games
Exactly.
that we really could not watch. So, I mean, they're doing that with the Rockies out here too. I mean, they're simulcast, like the Rockies are now being produced by Major League Baseball. So you got to pay for that package, but they're doing now 10 games over the air on a local TV station out here this season for the Rockies.
Right.
Trying to get people that don't want that don't want to spend $100 to watch the team lose another.
Right.
Games.
Yeah.
Listen, I love covering the Rockies. Coors Field's a great ballpark. If you ever come out here to Denver for a game, you'll love it there. Product though is just not good right now. Not a good product out here.
Well, Nuggets got off to a good start.
They need to.
Made a defensive stop, and Jokic was actually pushing the ball on a fast break, and got it.
Could have won Monday night.
Got it to Aaron Gordon, and Aaron Gordon finished with the foul. I'm wondering what we're gonna see out of Kawhi tonight after that big performance, game 2. Jeez, I'm like, good lord.
He did.
What's that?
39. Yeah, that was couldn't miss.
That was insane. I did not expect. I mean, I haven't seen Kawhi look this great in years.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was old Kawhi. Definitely making an appearance. Definitely.
Kick it back to him. Oh, baseline. Oh, he missed the dunk. Kawhi went for the dunk over with Jokic there, and he missed it.
On the clock. You think about
But he got the rebound back though.
Offseason. Talanoa Hufanga, one of the big hitters in the NFL at that stage.
But y'all know that Kawhi done changed his game up now, right? Because you know that ain't braids.
Kawhi's throwing it back to the old school Kawhi.
Yep. That's not the braids he got anymore. He's actually got locks, but it's just braided down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I kept looking. I was like,
it's different.
Nah, I was like, some don't look different. And I was like, oh, that's what that is.
There's a running back available now.
See, he had changed the game on y'all. You know what I'm saying? He had fooled everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Johnny Carson, I don't have the little envelope up to my thing.
Yep, there goes Jokic.
But if they want a running back, but maybe
running back.
All right, Denver. Let's see what they do.
Frankly, because you look at what they have on the roster.
They're definitely not drafting a quarterback. I know that.
Right.
They got Bo Nix now, so that problem's been solved.
Yeah, well, it was solved for 1 year. I'm still wondering how he's going to do next year when teams adjust to him a little more.
Right.
That's true too, but I think they know what they're going to. They got to put a good offensive line around him. That's what they got to do.
Yeah, they definitely got to do that. I mean, they got one of the offensive linemen from the 49ers out there.
They have a safety going to him.
April is World Wish Month,
Starks,
and the NFL is
Malachi.
proud to support the life-changing wishes.
Yeah, that's from Georgia, right?
Right.
One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. There you go, Sam. Raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team.
Man, can they make a wish for a grown man and just let me go to every Super Bowl? I'm kidding, but I am happy for that young man.
Yeah.
Happy for that young man.
Hopefully they get somebody good.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
Okay, yeah, he's talented.
You think you know nothing.
Man, are they trying to get rid of this is quite a Michael, are you looking at the comparison they making to him?
I'm seeing this now.
It's definitely a need. And
Ain't this funny? They usually don't ever compare a black guy to a white guy. This is a new one.
It's the first.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
It kind of threw me off. It caught my eye. I was like, hold up.
I guess we're living in the what do they call that now? We're living in the we're living in the dark times. Yeah, we're living in the twilight zone now because now we're comparing. Really? Hey. Put that on your bingo card.
Right. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. Well, hey, you got rappers that can rap like black men, like Eminem and Vanilla Ice. No, they would compare it to them too. So it's like,
oh, geez, you really have to say Vanilla Ice.
I'm just saying. Well, listen, I mean,
yeah.
I'm picking, man.
Here. There's no Eminem without Vanilla Ice. I mean, somebody had to be a trendsetter somewhere, right?
Better.
Had to be a trendsetter somewhere. Wasn't it Vanilla Ice? They got started.
It was funny when he got sued, man.
Yeah.
When we got sued for the when we got sued for the song, talking about it
I
was
remember
different
that.
because they said dun 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 dun.
Oh, yeah,
That's
dun.
different.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. I'm like, no, it
I remember
ain't,
that,
man.
yeah.
Just pronouncing it different, man.
But you know what though? That's only because that became a hit with everybody. You know, he's from Miami too, so you know they play that style of music down there. He revolutionized it with that beat.
Man, I still remember Informer. Remember that song was DJ? Was it Snow? Informer.
Oh yeah. Now you're throwing it all the way back now, Mike. Damn.
Funniest part
It
is
is throwback Thursday, so I guess it makes sense, right?
man, the funniest part about the whole thing was Jim Carrey imitating both of them on The Living Color.
Oh, I know that was. I thought that his imitation of Vanilla Ice was hilarious.
Man,
He was like Mo from the Three Stooges. That was hilarious. I was crying like this dude.
Yeah. Had me cracking up laughing.
That was one of my favorite skits he did, Vanilla Ice imitation. And the Raptors around just looked down like, oh, we're getting away from that. He's corny.
Maybe
the Rams want to.
Oh my goodness, man.
That's a show that would never come back in this day and age either.
Yeah,
nah, you couldn't do a Living Color on TV right now.
They couldn't do it today now. There'd be too many people crying about that right now.
Oh yeah. Remember when we did Lean on Me? Remember we did Lean on Me when he's at the hair school?
Oh yeah.
I'm with you there, 100%.
They would be so mad now if that was today. They would not want that on team. They would say,
oh my
God.
Here
we go. Pittsburgh is up.
I know in the long
Here we
term,
go.
is not necessarily the guy that
Pittsburgh is up. Here we go.
Pittsburgh,
man. This is the time we're going to be talking
Man, look, Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson do not inspire confidence. No.
Right.
Metcalf, you had George Pickens out there, but man, what's the
Man.
need to have that if you don't have?
I would go get Shador right now. I would go get Shador right now.
Better get him now.
Right here.
They're showing him. Like, hopefully.
Oh, it's at his house. Okay, I didn't know what was going on. Here we go. About to find out now. If they pick Jackson Dart over Shador, I'll be scratching my head.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon.
Wow.
Oh no.
Wow.
Derek who?
Okay, so as I've been telling you guys,
defensive tackle.
The draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to take a quarterback at
Twitter.
Was this? Wow.
No, but I had Shador in the 20s this whole time.
So you did have him 29 on mock 1.0.
I'm 21.
And I said,
You mean to tell me that man's going to end up in the second round?
Yep. He's going to end up in the second round now. It's
Looking at these, the teams that's left, they don't need.
Yeah, the teams that left don't need a quarterback.
They don't.
He's going to end up in the second round.
Wow. Only one quarterback. Wow.
At Oregon, he comes down.
Wow.
I love what he could do, playing alongside Cam Hayward and maybe eventually replacing Cam Hayward as that 5.
Wow.
I know Coach Prime got to be peed off right now.
Oh yeah, you know he is.
Wow.
What was said about Derek Harmon was I talked to an NFL personnel guy who told me this guy is either a Steeler or a Raven. This is what
a Steeler or a Raven.
When you look at it, the quote was he plays like a Raven or a Steeler. Off the tape, he reminds me of a young Cam.
I didn't expect him to be a first round pick. I didn't hear his name being mentioned as a first round pick, but people can tell me I'm wrong. But
that's what they like. He's the kind of guy they like because he's a drain clogger in terms of.
I'm gonna have to look him up real quick. I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah.
The Harmon family, I apologize. I get it. But he looks now
Yeah. They had him going in the first round, but just 24 to the Vikings.
Derek Harmon. Who the Chargers are going to take? That's next.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't see any other quarterbacks. The only other team I could think of would take a quarterback would be the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not looking for a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rams would be looking for a quarterback because, what's his name is in the twilight of his career at this point.
Yeah.
And that's Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. Wow. And say Green Bay has love. Oh, wow.
Wowie. Wow.
That's a plot twist. That's a plot. That's a.
Wow.
Wow.
Did not expect him to get passed over. At that
Yeah. Not for.
Yep, you might be writing a piece on him not going in the first round, man.
Wow. That's something.
There's going to be, I'm sure Coach Prime has got to be peed off right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. Wish it kind of felt like the Raiders could have, but not to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Oh, I did think about something too. The Broncos had the other starting white cornerback in the NFL. So I wonder now. I'm like, oh, is his job in jeopardy? Now that they undrafted one. Now they undrafted another cornerback to potentially take his spot.
Wow.
Because it's the first time I've seen two, let alone one white quarterback since cornerback. I'm sorry, since Jason Sehorn when he played for the Giants.
Wow.
That's that's the last white cornerback I ever remember seeing in the NFL. And then here comes our guy playing for the Eagles, and then the guy playing for the Broncos. And the crazy part about both of those guys, guess where they both played college football?
Was it in Tennessee or was it in
Iowa?
Iowa.
Yeah, both of them played for Iowa.
Wow.
The 2025 NFL draft over the next couple days, more than 200,000 fans converging on that city to enjoy one of our favorite times of the year. The fans that were there, well, they got to watch some fun. Time for FedEx Air and Ground Players to Watch, presented by FedEx.
Well, Memphis is up 17 points now.
Much speculation that the Tennessee Titans would take their quarterback in Cam Ward.
So they're up 17 points on the on
Looks
the
like
Thunder.
Shador's going to go to the second round, but the question now is, where does he go? Where does he end up?
I gotta look at where the start of the second round and see what they got going on. Look real quick. I can give you some suggestions of where he might go, but that's about all I can do at this point.
Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock with the 22nd overall pick. Coach Harbaugh, you got to imagine guys can think about the running attack. You think about some of the.
I can't believe Will Johnson has continued to slide.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that he has continued to slide this much. I'm very much shocked at this. Oh, the Browns got 33rd pick, Michael. I can see him. They got the 33rd pick and the 36th pick. I could see him going to either one of those or 37th pick. The Raiders have the 37th pick.
Well, because I tell
so that could happen too.
How about the fact that you need?
So those are a couple places, and then the Saints do have the 40th pick.
Cornerback help and Will Johnson.
Man, Will Johnson needs to go and come off this board. I'm just shocked that he is still on the board.
Who's that, Shador?
Well, Shador, yeah, I thought Shador would be gone, but I thought Will Johnson would be gone too. The guy, corner from Michigan. I thought he would be gone at this point. I didn't think two of his teammates. If you had me saying before this draft that two Michigan guys would be off the board in the first round, I would definitely say Will Johnson would be one. Plus, Will Johnson has history with Jim Harbaugh, so
right,
it helps too. So there's that connection there. So I would see that. I could see that happening, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But what's that?
that's why you have these.
I know I wasn't expecting Shrew to be in the second round though. I'm sorry. I guess
have to project when there's going to be runs.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
I didn't see that coming.
But I will say this: Bomani has been talking about this for like the last month or so, that he probably end up being in the second round. So
Second round.
I got to give him and Foxworth credit because they really did say that they thought he would end up being in the second round. And I was looking like, man, y'all got to be crazy.
Yeah.
But maybe they were on to something.
Yeah.
He never had that type of size, explosiveness. He got it done with Corum and Haskins.
Boy, oh
guys
boy.
that, you know, were
Boy,
physical.
oh boy. The web that's weaves when it comes to
Yeah, definitely the web that is weaved, man.
He can take it to the house. He's also
The tangle web we weave when we labor to deceive. Is that the old saying? I remember that saying. Is that what they call that?
I believe so. Man. Wild.
Wow.
Yeah, I will say this: the Chargers will never win if Justin Herbert has to be the reason they win.
You don't think so? Wow.
Not in crunch time.
Right.
If he has to be the reason they win, they might not ever win anything. They might not ever win the big time game.
Wow.
In terms of like playoff wise, big time game, not regular season.
Right. And they have a running back.
I do like they picked up Najee Harris. I think this offense fits him better than Pittsburgh's does.
Right.
Especially if he runs like his hair is on fire.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure he probably will be doing on a 1-year deal.
Right.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure he will.
Most definitely.
Trying to get that extension so he don't have to move no more. Because he actually is from out in California. Najee Harris.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he's going back home.
Right.
could be Will Johnson.
Wow.
They do have some different directions.
Yeah, they have
That's why
Trevon
Miami
Henderson.
is a pretty intriguing pick.
Running back, but they probably won't draft him because they have, you said,
players with
Najee.
talent at those positions in need.
Yeah, I don't see them drafting a running back this early. I think it's going to be.
Today's draft, but you look at the needs.
Excuse me. There's going to be one quarterback drafted, one running back drafted, and the rest of them fill out.
Right.
At this point is what I'm thinking is going to happen. But
Happens later in the first round than earlier in the first round. And you have a little bit more mobility if you want to slide up.
did they take no Murray's in the game? I thought they took Murray out of the game so far. Jeez, man, the Grizzlies are up 24 points.
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm like, jeez.
Wow.
I thought it might have been the other way, not that way.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, you set your board.
Wow.
Definitely.
Man, OKC, man, you can't get blown out and be a championship contender. You can't get blown out, even if it's on the road. You can't get blown out like that and be calling yourself a championship contender.
Ahead of him.
Can't do it.
Find out if that's going to be the pick.
And that's 24. Wow.
Chargers with the selection.
Yeah, Jokic came out on the mission as well. So,
Well, he had a bad game Monday night, so I know he's trying to get back on track.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina.
Okay.
Exactly how I called it.
I mean, exactly.
So I guess they're overhauling the running back room then.
Yeah. Excited for the Chargers.
Because they brought Najee Harris in. Gus Edwards is not there anymore, and then the other former Baltimore Raven can't escape being injured all the time. So
Yeah.
I can see this fit there. He's probably not going. I will say this: if they're investing a first round pick in him, yeah, he'll be in there. Him and Najee will be splitting time.
Spend time, yeah.
They'll be definitely splitting time in the backfield.
Right.
This combination of Hampton and Najee Harris.
Man, they need to tell Booger McFarland to go home.
His voice is
He's a human carcass.
His voice about gone. It's not done. I'm like, yeah, you need to go ahead, go home, get you some tea,
Right.
just put a little honey in it, just go on, take that and go to bed, man.
Give you some
Bed.
aggressiveness, and then he hits the gas. And if you're there, you're there. There's going to be a collision.
Yeah, I'm happy for Marion Hampton. I mean,
That's how he runs.
with the way the running backs have been drafted lower and lower each year, and to see two running backs drafted in the first round is almost like seeing pigs fly outside.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
true.
Tries to jump over people and gets
Green Bay, they're up next. They have
miss games. He has like
They say
5% body fat. He's
Man, I could see Green Bay. Man, again, I know I keep saying this man's name, but this is a fit here for Will Johnson too.
Right.
It's like every one of these teams is a fit for Will Johnson, but they just will not draft this man. I'm trying to figure. I'm like, and I understand the questions about him. I totally understand that, but I'm like, come on now.
Right.
Physical runner. Look, man, you start showing those traits early. You start showing the traits. Look, if you put it in the paint,
It's just kind of frustrating to think about.
high school, you do it in high school, you do it in college. Like
Yeah,
this
he
is a
should
dude who
be
is always
already drafted at this point.
I mean, why would you want to hit a big dude like that? Big physical old guy. I'm not
Are they
trying
really
to-
showing this man's high school highlights? in the NFL draft?
I get they are. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they doing too much now. I don't even know what the purpose of that was, but okay.
Insider saying on air that the Chargers were taking some calls from teams that were trying to move into that selection. I don't know what that means. I'm going to put you guys on the spot.
Wondering if somebody's going to trade into the first round.
That was trying to find one of these quarterbacks. No, okay. Do you think
I
it
think,
was
I think
for
maybe
Hampton?
Texans looking for a guard, trying to make sure they keep their guard. I think the Texans are in good shape for potentially Donovan Jackson. Would be interesting if the Rams went up there because, like I said.
But what team could Shador go to? Now, like back on that, like what if the Steelers aren't going to take him?
So I don't know.
It could be the Browns, it could be the Saints. Browns, Saints.
Detroit loves. That's.
Yeah, the Browns and the Saints are the top two teams I can think of right now.
There's really no need to.
You don't think he would?
Huh?
You don't think he would want to play like I guess necessarily like backup? Like he would want to come in being like the first, like on the call sheet.
Trader Nick may be at it.
Sort of.
Looking to grab
I
Donovan
mean, he's never been afraid to do the work. This is what he'll tell you.
Something to keep
So,
an eye out for because the Chargers.
I think if he goes, if any situation would be great for him, would be those situations in terms of getting on the field early. Great,
right?
I'm not saying it's great situations. Cleveland, I will say that the offensive coordinator and head coach there does tend to have a system that can nurture a quarterback, so that wouldn't be bad. Now in New Orleans, you got a new head coach there, so the former Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator. So it'll be interesting to see how he could develop him. Kellen Moore, it'd be interesting to see how Kellen Moore could develop him.
Yeah,
To me, he's a nice fit there. But without that time, I just know how the Green Bay Packers traditionally operate. It is hard to take a
And
player.
I think everybody around America had the same sentiment from going to Pittsburgh.
And they like guys that.
What's that?
I said I think everybody in America had the same sentiment of him going to Pittsburgh.
That's the concern for
Right.
Will Johnson. Will Johnson could be in for a long slide right now because he didn't run.
Oh, they're talking about Will Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that would be potentially part of it because of the slide, because of how he ran.
He did run.
Yeah.
And he never ended up answering those questions. I had Matthew Golden there in my final mock draft, the 4.0, and that's a quarterback.
Whoa!
Well,
Are you talking about the Packers in the first round wide receiver?
Well, that's
like there are things that we know.
I know
don't happen.
I know.
The Packers do not ever draft a wide
I did
receiver.
when I went back
He's
and turned
losing
my
his mind.
last one in. I put Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky because they do
He's
draft
losing his
quarterbacks.
mind. They do not draft wide receivers in the first round.
We talk about cornerbacks and those things, but more like no wide receivers in the first round. Like that. It's not what we just don't do.
And
that.
it is a good room. It's a good young room, right? I mean, we've been talking about
Not a good wide receiver draft though.
I'm over here reading about Will Johnson now.
Crazy about all the drops. It's an inconsistent wide receiver room. You got a lot of money.
This is why he's dry.
At some
He's
point, they're going to
falling.
have to address wide receiver. If it's not the
This
first
is why
round,
he's falling. He's
Buck
got
is
a
right. I mean, they
he
don't
has
do
a
it, they
knee
don't do
issue
it.
that concerns
But
NFL
they better do
teams.
it at some point in this draft.
That's why he's falling.
Max Harrison is on the board.
Never
from
mind.
Kentucky.
I get it now.
Speedster.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to go on with Jair Alexander.
Packers
corner
are
would
getting
make a
trade
lot of
calls right
sense
now
here.
for this
I
pick
was
too.
just about to bring up the Alexander.
You said they're getting
equation
trade
'cause we've heard
calls?
some buzz, and
Yep.
maybe not long for Green Bay.
Wow.
They're getting trade calls for
obviously
this
need to
pick, so
find
somebody
out if
wants to
that is
trade
the
up to get
case. And like
somebody.
I felt like as we
Yeah.
were doing mock draft
Don't
live,
know who.
you would
We're
slide
gonna
in
Yeah.
some
see.
corners there and reference that being potentially the reason why. Now, who knows which direction they go? We got $1.30 or so before we actually go and find
Isn't
out.
it
But
funny?
there was
Just I don't know. I'm watching the
intrigue for
game,
a
the
guy in that
Clippers and the
secondary that
Nuggets
we
game.
performed pretty well.
It's funny as all. It's funny as all get out seeing
Not thrilled that they
Ben
let him go
Simmons
and
play for
walk as
the
how productive
Clippers.
he was.
It's
But
It
funny.
is.
once
I
again,
was
if you
like,
had to
oh, but I
hypothesize,
forgot
still
about
corner
him
for
playing
you.
for the
Yeah, I
Clippers.
completely
I
forgot he
think
was on their
that,
team.
look, the Jeremy
Me
Allen
too. I was
conversation
like, wait a minute, Ben
conversation
Simmons?
is really good for them in terms
That
of what
Ben
it is
Simmons, the guy that
to do
made
with
that
him.
couldn't play in
There was
Philadelphia? That Ben
a
Simmons?
fallout at the end of the
That
season.
guy?
He didn't play with him again, and I think they would like to find someone
Wait a
to
minute.
replace him and get better.
Ben Simmons,
better
he
not
changed
only
it
in
up
terms
too
of
because he's
offense,
he's
block,
rocking braids
find
now.
a
So I was like,
corner
hold up.
fits what they
Yeah.
need.
I didn't catch who he was at first. I looked. I was like, oh,
Right.
that's Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons
Looking
is
at, by the way, I just
Ben Simmons
was able
out
to
here
go through
rocking
a research
braids
back in
now.
very quickly.
Okay.
Packers haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round.
Giants are trying to get back into the
Oh,
first
yeah,
round.
Yeah,
2002.
Ooh, well, we know what
When
that could
you
be.
just seen Anderson, she's tweeting that Giants are trying to get
It's
back
not
to
what
the
it's
first
done.
round.
Like there's a thing when you
Well,
walk
we
in
know
there,
what
they
that
say,
could
hey,
be.
we're not taking wide
What,
receivers
Shador?
together. It's the collective
Potentially.
development. Second, third round is always just.
Were you in that? You were in the building.
I just want to know if you had that up. Or
No,
that
That was
just
one of the
Yeah.
teams
you
that
were
was
in the
really,
building
really
with Ron Wolf,
starstruck
right?
about
Yes.
him,
What was that conversation
Yeah.
like?
Well,
and really
they've
had a lot of
always
deep
felt like you
conversations
can
about
develop
him
those
too.
guys. We have an
Miami.
elite level quarterback,
boy.
elite level
And
If
quarterback.
actually
the
was there
Giants
for the
get back in
private
the first
workout too.
round
Playmakers
and
on the
get
outside.
Shador,
They had so much success
Now
in the
that-
second and third
Slap
round.
your
Yeah.
slap in everybody's
All
face
the
right
way
now.
back to when I was there, Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman. You go back to
Because everybody
like
had him
like
picking
James
one in the second
Jones
round. He
was
gets in the
taken
first
second
round, gets drafted by the
Randall Cobb,
Giants.
Jordy Nelson.
Number
all
one,
those
us
guys,
Giants
they've been
fans
able
are
to find
happy.
those guys.
Right.
Number two,
Adams.
he done made
Just
everybody
continue to
look
find
like
those guys
liars
in those
again.
second and third round.
Yeah.
Sure, you
You
know
know
what
they're
you're
gonna
doing,
tweet
you know
about
what
this
you're
all
doing.
day, tomorrow,
You
all
just
day,
caught the
every
All
day.
day. Right.
So you
Wow.
would not think wide receiver just based off everything that you just
Well, history says
Yeah,
that.
Green,
That's not
did
even
he
in the
really say?
stratosphere.
Did
We're
they
not
really
even
say
having a
Green Bay ain't
conversation
going with a
about
wide
wideout.
receiver in the first round? I'm
Right.
with
All right.
Booger
Look,
McFarland
there's
on this one.
questions here about the
Yeah.
secondary. Maybe the host
They ain't
seat.
go.
We'll
They
let it be a
never
wide
go with
receiver.
a first round wide receiver.
Please let it be a wide
Ever.
receiver.
They
No,
do.
awesome. I think it's Max Harrison, but we'll see.
If they do it this time, I would be completely shocked. I would be shocked if they go with a first round wide receiver. I don't even know who this guy is. I can't tell on the screen.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers president and CEO, Mark Murphy.
I don't even remember him playing for the Packers.
Wow.
Thank you, Roger.
Or did he play for the Packers?
How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable?
Packers presidency.
Roger, thank you in the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here. On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field.
Is he gonna make this pick yet?
It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? Yes. We also have the best owners in the NFL. And we also want to celebrate the special connection we have with our fans that dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers.
Oh, whatever.
For the first time
They had to be extra with that now, didn't they?
draft a wide receiver,
Oh, they actually are drafting a wide receiver.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver.
I am shocked. I'm shocked. They actually drafted a wide receiver.
As you said, history
Why
will
that dude
tell
look
us
like a
what's
little
happening to
miniature
the wide
Gucci man?
receiver.
He look like
fires happening.
He like a little miniature version of Gucci Mane.
Oh.
Let me say it right. Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane.
Oh yeah.
To me though,
That's what I know.
about looking at that room and saying, "What don't we have?"
Yep. Got the Rockefeller Records chain. That's what it kind of looks like.
Big points on the field on the board, and so Matthew Golden.
And if the Giants get back in the first round, you know who they're going after.
And after all these years,
I'll be very happy. Now, I think we can both be happy with this tonight for sure.
Top running
Yeah.
back.
I'll just about complete our evening.
I got all these
Yes.
loaded boxes because
Right?
no one
Now
respects
that-
what we have on the outside. He didn't say that, but he said it
I
without
can't
saying
believe
it.
they went for
So,
a first round wide
Matthew
receiver.
Golden is like I wouldn't call him a number one.
yeah.
He's kind of a hybrid
And-
1-2.
Yes.
And so,
But then but see, that'll be a steal for the Giants. Because now they got a defensive end now who they're saying is going to be one of the better. Is probably going to be a bona fide superstar.
That's true.
And then you get Shador on top of that too.
Give as much money to your
If
quarterback.
I'm the Giants, if I'm the Giants, that's an A plus for the Giants. I think.
Right, and he could learn a lot from veteran quarterback Russell Wilson.
He could be mentored by Russell and James. That's right.
On the offensive line,
That would be a win for the Giants. They can pull that off.
Now, if they elevate, the old school used to be you elevate, right? With Aaron Rodgers,
That would be an A plus
Brett
draft.
Favre. They could elevate
That would be like
the
a
Robert
complete
Brooks. They could elevate
blockbuster movie.
all those wide. I mean, they had great
Giants
Bucky
made their way back to the first
Jordy Nelson,
round
all
and
the
got
great
Shador
wide
Sanders.
receivers that came
Wow.
through there.
And then you know what that means?
Now, when
Shador
you
comes
think
back to
about
play the
it,
Colorado here
Jackson,
because they're coming back here to play the Broncos in the fall.
Right.
Flowers.
Yeah.
Flowers is a great.
That'd be a homecoming for him here too.
Exactly.
They're
That'll
in
be.
Buffalo. You know, Buffalo
And
may
Travis
look
is
at
coming back to
a
play
wide
here too
receiver
with Jacksonville. They're playing the
at some
Broncos here in the
point
fall.
early
So
on.
both of them will be coming back
Right.
here.
They're playing the AFC South plays the AFC West this year.
I think Matthew
Yep.
Golden. I saw him. I
believe
watched
so.
him at University of Houston. He was a good wide receiver.
I think it's at May
4-star
14th. That's
receiver
the date
came
where it
to
all
Dana
comes.
Holgerson's Houston Cougars. He was a good wide receiver at Houston. The guy I saw at Texas was much better. He's ascending talent. He learned. He's got very good ball skills. He's a very
Yep,
good
this is the
ball
guy that
trapper.
was
You'll
from
see on all these highlights that we had.
he
He tracks
moved
the ball
from Houston
exceptionally well.
to Tech to
But
play
he
for the University of
play after
Texas.
Big play for the long
Wow.
haul. In big game after big game, and it got to where Quinn Ewers, his quarterback, just said,
Matthew, yep.
"I'm going
They
to throw
had
it to
him on
Matthew
the
Golden because I know he's going to
list
make
for
a
a long
play."
time.
And I think that
Quinn
here's some of that
Ewers,
ball tracking I'm
man,
talking about. It's
I've never been
there
very
is
high
some
on
guys
him.
who are on the come up,
Right.
and I think that's what Matthew
Quinn
Golden
Ewers
is.
was
He's on
not
the come
my
up.
guy.
I do think he's more of a wide receiver too, as Bucky mentioned. I don't think there's a true wide receiver one in this draft, but I think Golden is one of those guys that is going to hit the ground running in Green Bay.
Yeah, he's going to hit the ground running. Here's what we say: like in Green Bay, forever.
You have
they've always
long-term
kind of been
concerns
more
about Will
the collective
Johnson's
more so
knee.
than having an individual guy. Even when Devontae Adams was there,
I wonder will he
he
even
had to
get
earn the
taken
right
in the
to pass and be the
second
number one
round.
receiver.
Will
Matthew
Johnson.
Golden and some of the guys that they have there.
How about Gilly? How about Gilly is at the one for Shador as well.
And for his playmaking, I think you certainly will see
Yeah,
him.
Gilly's out there. Gilly's out there watching
I had a
watching it with
conversation with
Prime.
Carr at the end
Oh,
of the
wow.
regular season.
Yeah, they're
Talking
watching
about
the whole draft
fans,
out there.
That's that thing that you think that could help a Jordan Love, and I think it speaks to what both you guys touched on.
I wonder did he like
Downfield
Shador? Did he?
playmaker,
I don't. Did he ever
explosive
mention
guys.
any
I don't know
teams
if they
that
have
he's
that
talked
right
to
now.
that have
And to
kind
get a
of been
speech
like,
like Matthew Golden, it feels like this is a good.
Talk about Shador?
like saying
No,
like,
no. I don't know if any teams have talked about it, but I know that
I'm trying to remember.
I know the Giants
I don't
actually
do
were
comps for all the
torn
players.
on who
My
to
comp for
pick.
Matthew Golden
I definitely know that because they had talked
Chris
about
Olave.
that. Those different things. The different reports were out there.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the first thing. Speed,
So
smooth.
I mean, it would
ball
would it
skills.
would it
Chris
be
Olave was
interesting
the
to
guy
see if he ended up
It's
in
really
New
hard to
York?
find a
Yes,
speed
very
that
much
also has
because
stuff
they
like
they
quickness
they
and
showed
true route running
a
ability.
lot of
And the
interest
thing
in the
that
private
really
workouts
being
too, and
promoted
them and
by
Cleveland did.
their classes.
Yeah.
So if he
Mhm.
doesn't go there,
It is uncommon
if
that you
nobody
have the
moves up
first
to the first round to
and
get
really
him,
run the entire route.
then
Right.
Cleveland
Minnesota here
actually
in just
could
a
get him
moment,
at
but let's take
33,
back to
which is
Green
why
Bay.
the
Matthew
Giants
Golden,
will probably
kind of
move up
cool here, host
to
city
try
Wow,
to get him
to
before
get-
Cleveland gets him.
Get Shador?
Yeah, that's why why the Giants would ever move up would be because if Cleveland at 33 would be able to draft him in the second round, they might have to move up.
Green Bay on 3.
Yeah.
Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna check, Jalen. You gotta know, you gotta do your research. They don't go break it down on Green Bay on 3. It's go, pack, go.
Yeah.
If he's gonna do that,
Yeah, he really
he
jacked
has
that
to
up.
know-
Matthew Golden jacked that all the way up.
Murphy had to get to him. And you got to tell him that before he gets
go,
to the
pack,
mic.
go. He has
Yeah.
to understand what the lay of the land.
All right, we'll take
Well,
it
he
back
said
to
he
Green
was
Bay
trying
in
to
just a moment
start
here.
something
Just want
new.
to throw this out there.
Yeah.
Reporting that
Not a new tradition.
Not a surprise here. Howard Roseman usually is working the phones, but working the phones trying to trade up. So there might be a player get you.
I know what it's not. It ain't a quarterback.
Yeah, seriously, they're good on that front. Wheels are turning. Trust me, I won't ask you about cute quarterbacks until we get one drafted. Let's get you back to Green Bay here with a Minnesota Vikings
So
team
far,
that
just
made some
one.
huge jumps, 14-3 last season. New quarterback, it's going to be J.J. McCarthy running the show.
And for Minnesota, we had Derek Harmon, but he's on.
With the 24th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State.
Okay. Oh. And they had him going all the way to
Lance.
yeah.
What's that?
And they had him going
The
all the
last
way
of
to
the
28
guards
for
went off the
Detroit.
board,
So
and now
Didn't they just draft?
now
Well, there's a
has it
trade.
been announced?
They just paid a
They
guard.
won't announce
It is out there. I'll just throw this. The Giants have traded back into the first round with Houston.
Oh, here we go.
wow.
We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But with Jackson specifically, I know he's a guy that you like.
Yeah.
Traded back in the first
Wow,
round.
that's
Here we
a
go.
good guard. He played tackle when Josh
What?
Simmons got hurt, and then the
Oh my
backup tackle got
gosh.
hurt. He switched from left guard to left tackle and held up
Let's
very,
go.
very well. This is a heartbreaker for the Texans because this is a good football player right here, and I like what Minnesota did. He's got the ability to really help with zone scheme, and they run zone scheme. He's very good at getting the backside cutoffs, get in space and make blocks. I think he has the size and strength to be more downhill if you'd like him to do that. That's not really Minnesota's thing. He's got that experience as a tackle, so you bring that, at guard, his natural position. He's going to be a better pass
They
protector.
traded. They
there.
traded
So
with the
this
Texans.
is really
So it's the
Texans,
25th pick they
this is a
have
good
now.
pick for them. And the
In exchange
Giants,
for
it was gonna be a race
34.99
between the
and
Giants
a third
and
rounder in
the Saints
2026.
potentially to get up there.
Wow.
And we may have our second quarterback. Finally, for you,
I
Yan, we get a quarterback potentially coming up.
For
I
them
just
doing all
happened to
this,
see, and
they
I
would
we
have
flashed
to
it
take
very
Shador
quickly,
Sanders. If
Jackson,
not
on
take
the-
Shador
on a
Sanders,
phone.
I mean,
Look, that could have been a great answer. I'm just saying. Right?
Yeah, it'd be kind of mind-boggling if
We
they don't.
tipped the
they
pick.
don't. Wow.
It'd be mind-boggling if they don't pick.
If they don't
right
pick
here.
the
How many more picks are in the first round?
32.
32.
You got 7 more.
7 more. Yep.
Oh boy! And so they stop at how many? When is the cutoff point? We're at number 1 now.
Oh, we're about to be at number 25. The Giants are about to make their pick.
About to be where?
25. It's the Texans, but they traded with the Giants. So I guess that's about to. Woo.
Yeah, the Giants are on the clock right now.
Yeah,
They are on the clock right now.
they are.
Yep, they traded with Houston because Houston traded out of the first round.
Yep.
Houston's
They are right.
Houston's been looking to trade out of the first round
Right.
because they really didn't. I don't think they really wanted anybody at that position. They wanted. Well, I would say this: when the Vikings picked the guard that they wanted, that was their cue to get out of the first round.
Yeah.
Because that was the guard that the Texans wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, this could definitely be Shador right here.
Wow.
At least I think it is. I think it'll be Shador. Ooh, the Clippers up 42-30 right
What?
now. And somebody might want to wake up the Oklahoma City Thunder in Memphis. By the way,
What? Make them.
good lord, that's insane. I can't believe they're getting beat down like this. But they are.
Wow.
Oh, there goes the Clippers again. It's 45-30. Nicholas Batum with that little touch 3-point shot he shoots where it barely touches his hand before he let it go.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, geez.
I feel like both teams are having a broad win.
It's 73-51. The Grizzlies scored 73 points in the first half. 73.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is.
They scored 70. I'm sorry, they just hit the 77. They got 77. I'm sorry. I'm saying
Wow.
correct. None of the Thunder's players have really done anything scoring the ball. But
Back here on Draft Center, just to reset, if you're just joining us, the New York Giants, they already
New York
made a
Giants.
I'm sorry, SGA and Jalen Williams are the only two that really scored.
first round
Wow.
with the Houston Texans. The Giants get the 25th overall selection. The Texans get 34.
But Scottie Pippen Jr. has 23 points in the first half. Him and John Morant had John Morant has 15.
Oh, John Morant has 15.
He's obviously working.
And yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr. has 23 points in the first
on
half.
Twitter here.
Wow.
It won't be Shador. It's going to be Jackson Dart, is what she's saying.
Jackson
Who's
Dart.
that?
Jackson Dart is what the Giants are getting.
Who, Josina saying that?
That's what Josina's tweeting right now.
Oh.
I'm not going to follow Josina. She's breaking some news right now on this platform.
Yeah, she definitely
She's
is.
on point so far tonight.
Given the state of this team.
That's easy.
Wow.
You're talking
That's
about the
Jackson
Giants.
Dart.
I
I
mean,
know
you
you
grab
got to
that
be feeling
Bacardi,
away.
You did the right
about
thing.
that.
You take the best on the board, and it was a matter of time before the Saints or the Browns or the
Oh,
Giants.
yep. I just seen where Sheena posted it
got a
too.
quarterback. It was just
What?
who was gonna
Yeah,
be the
that
quarterback?
posted that they're getting Jackson Dart instead of
Jackson Dart,
Shador.
or a wild card like
Wow.
Tyler Shough, I
So
guess.
do you
It
think?
could have been
not
a
Milroe.
quarterback like that,
Man.
or Milroe, or
Wowie.
Milroe. But
Wow.
I think Dart is the guy that I've heard that the Giants
Yep, and
really liked. That
Mm.
Brian Daboll likes Dart. So
That's
this is not a huge shocker to me. It was a matter of which team would get up there first, who really liked whatever quarterback the most.
What are the traits that fit for either one of these guys? If it's Sanders or Jackson Dart, with what Brian Daboll and this offense wants to do.
Okay, so the comparison to Jackson Dart has been Jalen Hurts. Well, Brian Daboll's most success has been with athletic quarterbacks. You look at Josh Allen, you look at what he did with Danny Dimes early with the Giants. So to me, they want to use the athleticism of a running quarterback to enhance what they already do on offense. So to me, Jackson Dart is a better fit than Shedeur Sanders because of those traits that he brings to the table.
Yeah, I watched a whole lot of Ole Miss, and I watched a whole lot of Jackson Dart when he was at SC, and then obviously running Lane Kiffin's offense with Ole Miss. Video game type numbers when it's Lane, right? And sort of these
Jackson Dart from
that is
Ole
also
Miss.
something we haven't seen from the Giants
Dang,
quarterback.
not
in
Shedeur.
So
a
basically,
while.
y'all going back to the Eli Manning well.
Basically.
Oh
That's
my
a good
gosh.
idea. That's a good way to put it.
Let's head to Green Bay and find out. Who
I
it
hear
is.
you, but ooh. I've watched Jackson Dart, and Jackson Dart gonna make you lose your mind too.
Yeah.
Because he makes some decisions that make you scratch your head.
The
Now, if
Houston
you can
Texans
tell
have
that,
traded the
never know.
25th pick to the New York Giants. With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback,
Wow.
Mississippi.
I'm just like, wow, Jackson Dart over Jackson Dart over Shador. Wow. Wowie.
You guys had said something in your
Are we watching the same quarterback? I watched Jackson Dart play. And
You said there's a little bit of probably used maybe
I don't know what to say about that.
TV, so I won't go there. But he's got that like moxie, maybe, and can get.
Did they really just
You can-
compare
yeah,
this
I can say
man,
so.
put a comparison to Jalen Hurts?
Got a whole
Jalen
lot. I
Hurts.
saw a ton of
They
that.
What?
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh my
They
God.
compared,
No.
they compared Jackson Dart to no.
They did.
Nah, I don't even like that comparison.
No,
I don't
that's
even
a-
like that comparison.
That's a flagrant
terrible
foul right
comparison.
there.
That's a terrible comparison.
Wow.
Terrible
Flagrant foul,
comparison.
flagrant.
And I would say when you watch the tape, it's the athleticism, it's the big arm talent.
That's
and
a
it's the
terrible
big play
comparison.
hunting that he displays. This dude goes
Jalen
for the big
Hurts.
plays. He goes for the juggler. And if you are a
Wow.
quarterback guru like a Brian Daboll, and you've had success with a Josh Allen type,
That's a
he's
terrible
not Josh Allen, but he
comparison.
gives you some of those Josh Allen vibes in terms of his athleticism, his playmaking ability.
The disrespect is real.
On Jackson Dart, bring
Mm.
you think that you can recreate what you once had in Buffalo. And remember, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll saw what Josh Allen was able to do in Buffalo. That's why they may have gone for Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders or some of the other guys that were on the board.
You know, I'm not going to run from it. I just this is a player that
That's crazy.
I had as a third round type player. My grade is more of a third round. I expected him to potentially go in the first. I thought he could go in the second, although most quarterbacks tend to go either in the first or the third. Not a lot of second round quarterbacks over the last 10 years, only 6. Jackson Dart, what concerns me is the weather won't be a factor for a little while. He's got to really work to push the ball. He does not have a natural arm. He can be a little inconsistent when it comes to throwing with anticipation, getting through reads. I think the Ole Miss offense really simplifies a lot for the quarterback.
Yep.
I think it makes it easier for him. And these are all
He is
things
speaking gospel
that
about
give me
Jackson Dart
pause
right
when
now.
I'm watching tape. I'm like, but how does he project? How does this Ole Miss tape project to the pros? And I really struggled with it. Now, what I like about him, he's very tough. I think he has a lot of natural confidence and swagger, as both of you have alluded to. And he's a very accurate quarterback. When he has to dial up the throws, we saw this at Combine, he really has to put a lot into his throws when he wants to drive it. But he doesn't lose his accuracy. And sometimes a lot of players will. The footwork can get a little bit lazy on him, but he can make throws at tough arm angles. Bucky referenced that with the Josh Allen stuff. So there's things to really like here. I think he needs to be, you see that arm, it's just not a natural big arm when players are near his feet and he can't really sit and drive through the ball. There's not going to be a lot of zip on the ball. So I think he needs to be in an offense that allows him some play action, take his shots down the field off of play action, and then play some ball control. And I don't know if that's kind of Dayball's MO or not, but I think he needs ball control with play action shots down the field. I don't think he's a guy that you want really trying to explore the second and third level just with arm talent. I don't think that's who he is.
No, so the one thing
That's
that
not
I'll say
good.
is the job that Brian Daboll did with Danny Dimes should give us kind of like
Wow.
a sneak peek of what he could do with Jackson Dart. Remember when Danny Dimes was the
You don't
quarterback?
wanna hear
they
that.
amplified some things. They utilized the running game. They utilized his legs to really maximize what they could do on offense. Jackson Dart has some traits that you can use in that vein. So even if it gets a little hairy for him making reads and those things, Daboll has shown an ability to take that talent and find a way to make it work for that offense.
Okay, so we had waited for a trade to happen. We got one, and now we had a second one with the Giants, and now we have a third in the first round.
Oh, so the Falcons are
Working the
picking at
phone.
26 again.
Falcons, trade 46.
Wow. Falcons said they're not playing no
And a
games
first
tonight.
rounder next
No,
year.
none.
Rams pick at 26 here and 101.
Who
So
could
the
this be?
Atlanta Falcons clearly like a
Right.
guy.
I'm
Like I said,
wondering.
sure they took Jalen Walker a little bit earlier with their first selection. Find out who it is right now.
I don't know if they'd be a wide receiver, though. I don't think it'd be a wide receiver,
Right.
but you never know.
The Los Angeles Rams have traded the 26th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 26th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select James Pierce Jr., defensive end,
Oh,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now that is a game-breaking
Screaming
guy right
for
there.
it a little bit
Right.
earlier.
Wow.
My
Said, hey,
gosh.
this
I
team
watched
needs
that
to
guy
figure out
play.
ways to get to the
Right.
quarterback. We
Boy,
saw
oh
that
boy.
address
Wow.
with their first
If
pick
that
in the
guy
Jalen
is
Walker,
in
defensive
his
end out of
focus,
Georgia, they double down. They like
it's
Pierce,
insane
and they said, you
the
know what, we're
things he
not
can
going to
do.
be in the back half of the NFL. 31st in
That's
sacks.
Yes.
yeah, that's
He definitely can bring the heat to quarterbacks. Now
Right.
they've got two guys that can bring the heat to quarterbacks. They've just drafted two pass rushers.
right.
Step quickness, the burst,
Wow.
explosiveness, getting to the
Wow.
I
quarterback.
like him more than I
So
like
this
the guy
dude,
they drafted from
getting off his
Georgia.
snap count anticipation
Really?
is off the charts.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he is on his
The
game,
thing that we
that
couldn't talk
dude
about the
is
entire process
nasty.
was the
Right.
unknown,
Wow.
the whispers of character and what this is going to be or whatever. They had to vet him out really well because if you're going to take him and put him in the mean streets of the ATL, you got to make sure that he's right and he's mature enough to handle
Got the
it.
family up there showing and throwing the AO.
He is
I know.
exactly coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Relentless, explosive, big play producer.
Yeah, I like that pick for
I like
him.
that pick.
The
Right.
whispers.
I
The
thought he would
that
make it to the second
we can
round
put out there
Yeah.
without really saying
Yeah.
What are you going to do with
because
more
the
time
character
on your
concerns
hands,
they
more
had out
money
there.
in your pocket,
in
and
the
more,
streets.
and more access? And it's a real question. You have to ask that about every single player that you draft. And James Pierce, that's the concern on him. The football, not the concern. James Pierce is a linear rusher who can get up the field and impact the pocket.
Here's what we can tell you. The Atlanta Falcons are a better team now because of what they've done in the first round, and the Giants
They attacked it.
have their future quarterback.
Ooh-wee. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. They're going to be pretty doggone stout. They're going to have some good pass rushers now,
Very.
which is going to be insane. They got two good young pass rushers now.
Right.
If you're the Atlanta Falcons, which
Wow.
that's good stuff for them.
That's good. Yeah. They saw that they wanted. Yep, and he's not. Yeah, he's not first one. Wow.
Good stuff
Yeah.
for them.
Trey Amos. They have him going to Buffalo. Yeah.
The Buffalo's up next, right?
It is Ravens, Baltimore.
Oh, Ravens. Okay.
Mhm. In Detroit.
Wow. I'm calling it for it is, y'all. The disrespect is real for Shador. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. If you're looking at me all they want to, they can make their comments and say what they want. I've been around Shador for 3 years out here. I've seen him play. I was at the Alamo Bowl, had a bad game there against BYU, but he is legitimately a good quarterback for the NFL ranks. He sure as hell can make a name for himself. He's going to be an impact somewhere he goes.
Right. Yeah.
They mess all they want to because I know they're going to do that.
But yeah, that was the Giants. Definitely, that was yeah.
So the Giants are off the board now. So now the only two teams I can look at right now that would that I can see them going to Cleveland, New Orleans. That's it.
Wow.
Well, I will say I will throw the Rams in there, but I know he immediately, if he goes to the Rams, he's going to be immediately the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not going to start over Stafford.
Right. Yeah. No, I can't. Yeah. I can't. Wow.
And also, you could see the Raiders potentially do some things. There's the Raiders, Rams, Saints, and Browns. Those are the 4 teams at this point.
Yeah. Wow. Which team do you think it would be a better fit at?
Honestly, the Browns would be a good fit just because their coach is a guy that does well in terms of building an offense around quarterback and different things there. So that would be a good fit there. But also the Rams would be a really good fit because McVay is a genius offensively. So
squads in the NFL.
And he would put him, if he had to play, put him in positions to succeed.
Right.
Offense. Time to get fired up though and trying to figure out who this selection is going to be. We've seen a flurry of moves. Just in case you're just joining us, the Giants and Falcons trading back into the first round with the last.
And the Clippers are up by 18 now.
Atlanta Falcons. Pierce, the defensive end.
Kawhi Leonard just went. Kawhi Leonard just hit Braun with gave him a nice little shoulder to the chest. Shoulder to the chest. Did go around baseline. Great space and spin back and hit a fadeaway jumper on him.
Pass rush guru who works with the Ravens now. I was watching.
Up to
and they're tied 1-1, right?
Texas A&M. Now everyone's got them in the second round, but there was something you could tell that Chuck Smith, he liked him, and I said, "You like him?" He goes, "Oh yeah, he's got some moves. He's a natural rusher." Donovan Izuaku, the pass rusher from Boston College, they need rush also. So these are some positions that you could be looking at right now for the I think it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. But Travion Henderson, Bucky brought him up earlier. That's an explosive back. And you talked about Omarion Hampton, right, with the Ravens, how that would have been an interesting
like the
selection.
Baltimore Ravens typically are a team that just look at the board and like, oh, who's the best player? Oh, that's a good player. Let's take him. And so that's the thing. So when we talk about pass rush and all those things, like where do they go? Do they kind of bypass some of their needs to go get a great player that's available?
And I had my best available on the board that we see here is Mike Green. Mike Green's also a rusher. I mean,
that feels like one of those
things. Now, I will give you an old tip. Ozzie Newsome taught me a long time ago, the one thing that translates success in the National Football League is sack production. It translates. Years ago, they got Terrell Suggs. He didn't run great, this and that. They're like, yeah, but he had 44 sacks at Arizona State. We're taking him. And he became a Hall of Fame caliber player. Maybe Mike Green gives them that sack production that they desperately need.
Looking at some of these numbers here, I said it so many darn times. 17 sacks led the country.
24 tackles for loss.
Now, devil's advocate, hey, Marshall, but hey, the reality is still was able to produce. Let's see who the pick is.
With the 27th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Malachi Starks, defensive back, Georgia.
I think he played safety.
To be fair, I listened to every word you guys said. Problem that I have is I don't always remember who said it. One of you guys just named Jack.
And they had him going way earlier than what he did.
brought him up just because, I mean, that's kind of the chalk here. At least for me in the mock, it was two teams, the Vikings and the Ravens, who really need safety. And when you think about what the Ravens are trying to do, they like Malachi Starks really fits. I mean, football character, SEC background and pedigree. He can play in the slot if you need him to at nickel, but he can also play on the back end. He's interchangeable, so that allows another interchangeable safety, Kyle Hamilton. You know, he can play down or he can play back. He played well.
They definitely needed the
last
safety.
year. Kyle Hamilton. It's nice to have two interchangeable safeties because it makes
Need a
you
pass rusher
more
too,
dangerous
but need a
defensively,
safety.
more varied. But Malachi Starks, if you look at his 2024 tape, Bucky, you
And
see a
Detroit,
lot of
they
him
come,
playing
they
in the
have
slot.
they
He's
have
half the
them
guard, shiftier
offensive
route
tackle.
runners. And you see right here, I mean, good ball skills and that
Interesting.
ability is certainly there. He is a really good run defender and tackler. He can get downhill and make tough tackles in space. But when you watch him in 2023, that's where he got to play more splits.
Jordan didn't go in the first round.
Standard safety position, and the tape
What's that?
is even better.
So Jordan's not going to go in the first round.
Malachi
Tonight,
Starks fits
Yeah.
personality
Yeah, he's not
profile
gonna go.
of what
You're right.
the Ravens look for.
Yeah.
The X's and O's of the
Yeah.
defense.
One thing about the
Yeah,
Baltimore
because every other
Ravens,
team,
they love football
definitely
players.
covered in
When
the
you say
quarterback
That's the
position.
highest compliment you can give a football player when you say, hey, he's a good Jesse.
Wow.
This is a guy, high IQ, versatile.
He could, but he could be the first
His
pick going out.
business when he plays in the back
On the
end.
That
second
dude out there, that dude out there hype like he get Ringo play.
Malachi Starks and Cal Hamilton just doing
Hey.
all these creative free snap disguises and making so many
But,
plays. And when we went
him
through
and
the
Kyle
process,
Hamilton are going
the
to be
reason he was
a
dropped
pain
a little
to
bit
play
when it came to
against,
Nick
especially if
Ford
he plays his
because he was a better
capabilities.
athlete.
Mhm.
But
They're going to be
make
a
no mistake,
pain to play
Starks was a
against because
high
both of
level
them can
player
do
when he
every.
dug
They
in
they
deep.
both can do
Not just
everything,
last year,
Wow.
the previous
which that's
years,
crazy to
he
have a
showed
safety
up
combination
early
where
and
both
often
can do
making plays.
everything.
And a
Both
really
do
remarkable story because you guys are talking about the athletic.
He can
nature.
defend in the
He's a
box. He
six-star
can
kid
defend in
coming
the
out of
slot.
as
He
the
can
number one
blitz.
athlete
He
in
can
the
tackle
country.
well against the
And
run
kind
and
of
the
a tough
pass.
upbringing.
I'm
You know,
like,
Starks
man,
family
you get two
homeless.
safeties
Malachi
like
was
that.
in third through sixth
That
grade,
is
and yet still figured
you
out some
got you a
ways
cheat
to
code at
be
that point.
productive
Right.
here and make something out of himself in a big way. Obviously, was able to
Yep.
play at Georgia. In fact, his
Wow.
first career start picked off Bo Nix. I mean, this is a guy that certainly brings
That's
a
the
ton to the
dream.
table.
Go
And once again,
Lamar
it does feel
Jackson,
like a
everybody.
good fit
That's
from the Ravens' perspective.
You know, it's that
a
overcoming
winning
adversity.
team.
Sometimes that can be played up a little
How
too much
beautiful
on
that
social
is
media,
to
things like
come
that.
out of college and
But
already
I
go
can
to a
tell you
winning
this:
team.
NFL teams, they don't mind when you've had adversity in your life and you've overcome it because it shows that a guy like Malachi Starks, what's happening on the football field is not the end of the world for him. He's going to be able to get through that. He's been through difficult times in his life, and he's got the mental toughness to get through that. And that's why it's important when scouts start looking into the backgrounds of players and they find some difficult times and they find a player who's gotten past those and been able to overcome adversity. Because not everyone is tested, and you don't know how you're going to do when you're tested with adversity. And there's plenty of drafted players who come in and haven't faced a lot of adversity. And there's football adversity, there's personal adversity. Malachi Starks has seen both, and he's come out on the other side with flying colors. That's one of the reasons why I think he makes a lot of sense as a Raven, because it's that mental toughness that's dialed into the Ravens players.
You know, Bucky, you did this as a scout, and I know you know pretty much everyone in the NFL. I'm thinking about the end of this first round, the Baltimore Ravens and now the Detroit Lions, who are on the clock. Two teams on the short list, I feel like the last couple seasons, to get to a Super Bowl. Rosters are intact in terms of healthy. They're as good as anyone in the league. How does that change if you're in the front office, how you handle the first round when you know you're so close? Like, how do you balance long-term versus, the window for an NFL team to have a run is not exactly long.
What I love about Brad Holmes is he's very transparent about how they go about their process. And he said, we don't worry about needs, we worry about getting good players. And when you get good players, you can't go wrong. It's one of the things that Hall of Fame executive Ron Wolf used to always talk about. You can never have too many good players. If you have a surplus, you now can trade off things to get some of your needs addressed. Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions are going to sit at the board. They're going to look and they'll be like, man, we just need another good player who is a blue chip player that has been kind of underrated that we now can take. And it has worked well for them. They took players that we sat here on the desk were like, why would they take a Jack Campbell? Why would they take a Jameer Gibbs?
I hated that draft, and that's the kind of idiot I was that year.
I remember sitting next to you, and you weren't.
Jameer Gibbs, I was okay. It was seemed early, but I liked the player.
Jack Campbell thing might have made him lose his top.
Jack Campbell, I was like, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta. They were like a few plays from the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Dare I ask?
We all miss. You got to live with it. You know?
Dare I ask who you like here? But I do think about one goal.
I like Mike Green, but I don't know if they're going Mike Green.
Which actually makes a whole lot of sense because the one thing that I think of when Hutchinson goes down, there was a lack of production from that defensive line. Is it clear for you, Bucky? Lance just told me it's Mike Green.
I like him, man. I just like him. I think anytime you can get someone to get after the pass, it works for you.
Okay, let's take you to Green Bay and find out exactly who the Detroit Lions are going to take, and certainly some major changes for that organization. Remember, both coordinators no longer there.
With the 28th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State.
I got it.
Struggles to finish. I don't think I want that attached to my name.
I know. I was like,
I like reading local writers.
I'm over here looking at something, and Jacksonville Jaguars guy. Guess what he said when he basically said the same thing that Les Snead said about picks.
Right.
He basically made the statement, "F them picks."
There may be some teams that just aren't okay with him. He's going to follow.
Like when they was at the press conference.
Right.
I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at it right here.
And the defensive tackles in that first round grades for me were off.
Yeah, he's actually sitting there talking, and that's what he basically said.
Because if you want one, he's going to go early in the second if you don't take him in the first. And Buffalo Bills need a strong defensive tackle too.
That was the spot.
So you kind of have to get it. You can't wait, or they're going to get you. If you try to trade out, the Bills are going to take Tyleik.
And quietly, 11.5 sacks at that position, that frame, 330 pounds. Like, I mean, come on now, what are we talking about? We're talking about someone that is big, that can hold his own. And remember, they will get Aleem Mitchell back. And so when you have Aleem McNeil back to go with Hutchinson, this defensive line looks a lot different just with those guys kind of coming together.
You know, a couple seasons ago, I watched the Philadelphia Eagles make this epic run. They don't get to a Super Bowl victory, but they did have success and lost both their coordinators. Then there was a step back for that organization. The Lions, how do they avoid that?
I don't know if you can avoid it because it's so competitive, but they're going to be right in the mix because the talent on the roster is too good.
Yeah, and maybe Williams is a guy that will certainly help the defensive line that did have some issues and needed some.
And next up is Washington. I don't know what.
A year ago at this time, the Washington Commanders, they're fortunate as a franchise.
They need defensive. They need a guy to bring defensive pressure.
They're moving their decisions next on draft.
Like a edge rusher.
Edge rusher.
They need an edge rusher. I wonder if they were hoping for James Pierce Jr. to drop. I don't know.
Yeah, before he was going, they had the Barron guy. He's a cornerback. He's going.
We're almost wrapped up.
Almost.
The end of this draft.
And the Nuggets are losing right now.
Yeah.
Nuggets are getting blown out.
They're getting blown out now. Oh boy.
We got two blowouts tonight, basically, for our last two games.
Wow.
Next is a close game.
Yeah. Wow.
I'd much rather watch two close games than a blowout, man.
Definitely.
Blowouts just get uninteresting.
Right.
Turn the TV off. What else is on TV tonight?
What's that?
Turn the TV off. What else is on? What's that song? Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
TV off, right?
Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
Nah,
Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
I'm trying to go in my library and finish up watching shows I missed. Like, I'm gonna catch up on Law and Order.
Right. Oh,
yeah. I gotta go do my walking pad anyway, because I do 10,000 steps a day.
Okay. Yeah.
So I started doing 10,000 steps a day. The walking pad, I can watch that while I'm
while you're doing it.
TV while I'm walking on it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sit down in the living room and just get to walking. I'll be on it for about an hour and change.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It goes by fast.
It does, especially like when you're preoccupied with something. Like you probably watch 2-hour shows.
Nah, I'm gonna watch. I'm watching Law and Order, and I'm gonna watch. I'm trying to figure out what else is on. I can't remember what else I missed. I'm caught up on all my shows except for
Back here on Draft
Law and
Central,
Order.
Lance Erline, Bucky Brooks, and Mike Am with you, Justin Pugh. How about this? Save Blue Collar if you want to learn how to relinquish your Eagles fandom. Let me know. I can teach you the ways. Welcome to Big Blue, of course, the big fella, the offensive lineman for the UMM. Knows a little bit something about that rivalry. Come on now, you're rocking that.
Is it a rivalry, though? Like
been one-sided.
you got both sides got to win to be.
You're right.
Who has the 33rd pick?
Kyler Murray's certainly happy to have
That'd be
him.
the Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns still.
Okay.
That's why I can say I can see him going 33 there. They have the first and I think the fourth pick of the second round.
Right.
I know both of you guys. I'm certainly a huge fan of what he brings to the table. Meanwhile, Washington Commanders, they're happy. They should be happy, especially because they're ahead of schedule, right? I mean, a year ago at this time, we were like, hey, what's this team really going to be? Everyone comes in. Jaden Daniels gets drafted.
They must already have their pick in.
Right.
Laramie Tunsil.
Everybody just shaking each other's hands like they're so happy about this pick.
Right, this pick. Yeah.
Travion Henderson right here with Cliff Kingsbury.
They're happy.
It'd
That's
be a
cool.
lot of
They
fun.
like it.
I don't
We
know
love
if he's
it.
going here, but it'd be a lot of fun.
All right, well, Lance called his shot. We'll find out what the Washington Commanders are going to do as he take it back to Green Bay and the commissioner.
That is funny. The Lions took an Ohio State defensive tackle, and the Browns took a Michigan defensive tackle.
2025
Hilarious.
NFL Draft.
Right.
The Washington Commanders select Josh Connerly Jr., tackle, Oregon.
No.
Yo, he's the
No.
guy we were doing mock draft
No.
live.
No.
He kept popping up sort of in this area. Both of you guys are a fan of the tackle out of
Not a
Oregon.
fan of the pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
like
still
it.
have
You know,
not
it's
drafted
so
a
similar
pass.
to
They need a
Laramie
pass
Tunsil's
rusher.
contract.
Right.
When you draft, sometimes
I
you
get
gotta
protecting your
really
quarterback,
cool
but you
deep
need a
down
pass
on
rusher. You
Laramie
don't have
Tunsil's contract
you
is
don't have a
up
pass rusher.
next year.
You still don't have one.
Now you can't
just-
just sit there and let
I
Laramie
don't
Tunsil have
understand this.
all the leverage. You gotta have somebody that you can place left tackle. He can compete at right guard. He can compete at right tackle. But Josh Connerly needs a year. He's still about a year away. He's got a lot of ability. Has really flashes at times. But I think he still needs to get stronger so that he doesn't get bull rushed into the pocket. So strength is something he needs to continue to develop, and he just needs more time. He just needs more reps. He's not a now player, I don't think, but he's a player that's going to pay dividends down the line for a team that is not building for a small window. They're building for a sustained window.
Then that's the thing, long term. And what I love about what Adam Peters was able to do is they took care of an immediate need when they got Laramie Tunsil. But then they're always
Buffalo's
backstopping
up
those
next.
guys with young players that can
Mm-hmm.
eventually take over.
Mm.
The best teams are teams that they never let a need become a glaring need. They always trying to address it on the front end. They've done that with Josh Connerly. We'll see when he's able to go on the field, but he's certainly talented enough.
They had him, Josh
So this
Conley,
is not a
going
healthy this
31 to
season.
the
Let's
Chiefs.
continue to build towards getting to a
Okay.
Super Bowl. Quite frankly, I think
Well,
that
and, you know, we're talking about they need a running back, and maybe they put the young Josh Connerly at running back.
Get off
Maybe they
me.
get him in there and do a little fat back wildcat. Let him catch the ball out the back. I mean, my man does a lot. Maybe there's some tricks in place where we can get him on the field as an extra tight end.
Fat back. The Joe Moore Award loves you for that. The selection committee.
letting that one sit. If you could see the Washington Commanders faithful, I don't know what to make of some of the get-ups there, like the Stormtrooper.
You ever been to the draft at all?
No,
I've been.
always, I'm usually
been
like
to
this.
The
like,
Chicago draft. I've been to New York in 14 when Johnny Manziel got drafted, and that was a Jadeveon Clowney draft. It's like a convergence of all the biggest super fans. Like, you ever seen the movie The Warriors? This is dated too. But like where everyone converges. That's really dated. But I'm trying to think of another one where people they all meet and it's good vibes. Like there's no fan violence or anything like that. It's actually a really cool experience if you get a chance to go to a draft. It's a lot of fun. Not you'll be working here.
I've been chained to a desk every single year of my career, so I haven't been able to check it out.
Selection show May 14th. Don't forget about that.
By the way, because we got that news a little bit earlier. You and I both put it in our calendars. We know that we're not off on May 14th. So,
you know what that is.
And getting that done. The Buffalo Bills.
Somebody said the Steelers, no QB, no OL, but let's draft a defensive tackle. Surrey play, take me to the king.
Oh boy, whatever.
He's usually trying to find
That's the trolling
a
now.
way out of the first round. That's what we typically have seen. Didn't see that last year. Obviously, double dipped in the secondary with a couple of those picks that were a big reason why they won a Super Bowl. Haven't figured out a way to pull off a move just yet, but the Bills are on the clock. Take me through what selection or what player it should be with this selection.
You know, it's funny. I was looking through Lance's list, and I'm sitting here with the Buffalo Bills. They're pretty solid all around. Initially, I thought if one of those defensive tackles were available, they would take them because I had mocked, a few different D tackles like Kenneth Grant and those guys. Well, those guys are all off the board. So now you're there. They signed Trey White to come back. They signed him on a one-year deal at cornerback. I know we're talking about Will Johnson. I know there may be some long-term concerns about the knee. He's a really good player, and he kind of fits how they like to play on the back end.
Maxwell Hairston's also there from Kentucky. He's a guy that had shoulder injuries, not the biggest cornerback. He's very, very fast. He had a couple hip injuries. Like, I wonder if the medicals right now are slowing him down. I heard a lot of love for him. I did have him falling out of one of my mock drafts because I was worried a little bit about the durability. But he's a good player. Two good cornerbacks still on the board, no doubt, for Buffalo, and that's a position Bucky they need.
Yeah, I talked to Charles Davis the other day, and for what it's worth on his mock, and I know we didn't necessarily touch on Buffalo, but I am looking at it right now, and I know he's a fan of Hairston, who he does have going in this position. I also think about what this team is sort of knocking on the door every single year. Secondary help does feel like a need.
They also running back could be a little bit of a thing, like James Cook. They're trying to figure out that deal, and he wants to get paid and all that other stuff. Like something
that always comes. Yeah, you got to think about that.
You've been telling me, hey, the deep class, maybe there's a selection here. So running back certainly comes to mind. Corner, and according to NFL.com, you can throw a defensive line and wide receiver into the mix. Who's the pick?
Oh, I forgot they did sign Joey Bosa.
Man, I've never saw the appeal of Joey Bosa. Like maybe 1 year of his career. I just never saw the appeal of him as a player.
Impact as a wish maker for Make-A-Wish. For the second time tonight, we have the opportunity to grant a wish for a deserving young man to announce the first pick for his favorite team. Tommy. Tommy is a 16-year-old living with a neuromuscular disorder, is a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and he's here with me to make the announcement for his beloved Bills. Go ahead, Tommy.
Let's go, Buffalo! With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Hairston. Let's go!
Let's go is right. We told you, hey, corner might be the position of need. We said Hairston could be the guy, and sure enough, it is the player out of Kentucky. Missed a couple games this past season. In fact, 5 because of a shoulder injury. Not necessarily an issue, according to the Buffalo Bills, who once again find a young corner that can certainly help their cause, especially when you think about some of the firepower in the AFC on your path to get to a Super Bowl.
Go ahead, Les. Well, slender outside corner. He's got long arms. He's got tremendous speed. He can pedal and change direction really, really easily. He really digests route combinations as well. Had a nice Senior Bowl. It's one of the things that stood out about him is when he started to move up the boards, but really tested extremely well. Ran a sub 4.3, ran in a 4.2s at the combine, jumped high, almost 40-inch vertical leap, long broad
Chiefs
jump.
and the Eagles.
And then the closing
That's
speed.
two.
Anytime defensive backs, I don't have to tell you this, Bucky, they love makeup speed. They love guys that can cover ground if they get beat, make up speed. Now you add long arms into the equation as well. You got a fast guy with long arms. It's tough to throw over those guys. It's tough to beat those guys deep.
Man, we talk about, again, I wrote in my notes, explosive, cover corner, great eyes, vision and break corner. Sean McDermott is one of these coaches that likes to play a little man, a little zone. He wants guys that have versatile technique. I love the fact that Tre'Davious White goes back there. He gives him a natural mentor to work with. This dude is fast and explosive. The long arms really matter. He's a nice fit in Buffalo. They have done a really good job with defensive backs in the past. He has great instincts and awareness to play zone. Injuries, that shoulder thing is a concern because he missed games. But, man, just a really solid player. And the thing about Buffalo, they get guys that really fit their culture. They're kind of like this selfless, team-first program where you don't see a lot of ego and a lot of stuff. He matches. He falls right in line with what they have built in their locker room.
3 interceptions for touchdowns in his career also is kind of an important stat because when he makes that play, he can flip. You flip the field, that's one thing. You flip it and turn it into 6. It's major.
4th straight year, a team with the reigning MVP has selected a corner in the first round. Just a weird.
That's an interesting
stat
stat you brought for us there.
I'm just looking at the numbers here. In Eric Stokes in 2022, Trent McDuffie in 23, Nate Wiggins in 24. And here we go. Harrison. Tom Pelissero, welcome to the draft party. Kansas City, trading 31, exchange 32, and a 5th rounder. Been telling you for the last hour or so, Howie Roseman trying to move up. There's clearly a guy that they like. Who that player is, we will find out. It's coming up next. It's Draft Center.
They just swap picks, basically.
Right.
Basically is what that sounds like, yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. We got all kinds of stuff popping off right now. The Nuggets are losing.
Right.
I think I put the story together for tomorrow morning about this. I guess Travis is going to be my lead story tomorrow.
Yeah.
Travis and Shador as my headline tomorrow morning for my newscast, but that's not going to happen now.
Right. Wow. Hopefully tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, it will say that he has won.
That might be possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also a little bit of Giants news. After the Giants traded up for Jackson Dart, Daboll made it clear in his press conference that Russell Wilson is a starting QB.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that was the move anyway. I would think he was going to be starting over Jameis anyway.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't even let it fester. He didn't even let it fester. He just went in and handled business.
Russell's getting paid more money than Jameis anyway, so I would think that makes sense logically that he's the starting quarterback.
Wow. Yep.
I mean, in that respect, right? I mean, you're going to pay the guy all that money. He's not going to start.
He's not going to start.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And Jameis is going to be Jameis is going to be fun to keep up with in New York.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it would be definitely, if anything, definitely a big cheerleader. I know for the team. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure some Dallas fans are highly upset right now.
Yeah.
Like Ashley.
I know one.
He's still steaming over there.
I know one other one. And yeah, not happy.
Not happy.
Not happy at all.
Back here on Draft Center, Prime
Wonder who they
throwing it
want
out
to trade up to get.
in Jacksonville.
Right.
How about this? I mean, you know Coach Prime. You know the Jags, maybe the biggest move that we've seen in the draft. So they're moving up to 2.
I mean, it's a hell of a move. Like Travis Hunter being able to go there. Now he gets a chance to live out all his dreams. He gets to play during the week, and then he gets to hang out on the weekends, do a little fishing in the summertime and all that. Doesn't get much better than that.
To be clear, you said this when they made the move. It's football and fishing for him.
That's it.
That's what it comes to.
I love Jacksonville. What?
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm getting hungry.
Mhm.
I didn't plan
Yeah, I'm just not.
Well, I need to see it
I'm
cook
not-
first. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't.
I'm not gonna help
You
you.
know, a sushi guy?
I like
Yeah.
sushi.
Okay. No, I say there. I know. I'm with you. Time for Power Moves, presented by Energizer. All right, so clearly that was one of the best moves that we have seen with Travis Hunter and the Jags moving up to go and get him. But Matthew Golden certainly comes to mind as one of those massive power moves.
We're almost done with the first round.
Matthew Golden's an energizer. He energized the University of Texas offense. He's going to energize the Green Bay. He energized the Green Bay fans when he got there. He's still got to learn go pack go. I understand that. But energize.
That's the Green Bay on 3. Green Bay on 3.
Bay on 3. I know.
Energizer. That's a power move.
Don't do that no more.
Haven't
Do that
drafted a lot
anymore.
of wide
Oh.
receivers in the first round in the past.
The Thunder are coming back. They're only down 12 now.
You know what?
Wow.
Now,
What
I will
quarter?
also mention. I will also mention that John Moran is out for the rest of the game.
Our
Really?
tendency,
Wow.
and we're gonna
Yeah, he went
draft a
up
wide
and
receiver. That's a power
Lou
move.
Dort hit
That is a
him
power
kind
move. I
of.
feel like we're playing
They
fantasy
made
now.
contact with him while he was trying to finish.
I take
Landed
Right.
on his hip.
I'm going with Emeka Egbuka.
Landed on his hip.
Playing
He's
as a
out for
wide
the rest of the
receiver
game.
that can make it happen as the wide receiver 3 to look Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Baker Mayfield has been putting up crazy numbers in Tampa. Those numbers can go even crazier. Then
Who is
you're a
that?
Smooth, polished receiver that you can play.
That is
can make a bunch of things happen. Man, they are
Emike, I believe,
really
with
set up for success.
wide receiver.
We
Yeah,
weren't sure
Emike.
where
Yep.
he was going to land. I mean, you watch the college football playoff, and it felt like the conversation was, "Hey, this is a first round."
Is he going to?
Sure in the last couple weeks. So we're exactly sure. Maybe
No,
a
that was
first
his,
rounder squarely in round
old
number
footage.
1. Told you a few
Oh,
minutes
okay.
ago. Yes,
Yeah.
the Philadelphia Eagles, their general manager Howie Roseman likes a guy, likes him enough to move up a spot. They do that with the Kansas City Chiefs. Who that player is, still awaiting to find
Dude got his
out.
whole uniform
Why they
on.
felt the need
I
to
know.
move up. Roger Goodell's got that answer.
He said he getting ready to go play. Put him in the game, coach.
I'm getting ready.
The Kansas City Chiefs have traded the 31st pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 31st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama.
Oh, so they finally strayed from Georgia now. I'm shocked.
Neither one of you was surprised by the selection.
Well, I was actually a little surprised.
straight
because
from
they brought
Georgia.
back They
Yeah.
paid Zach Bond. But, you know, it reminds me of Zach Bond, frankly, when he came out of college from Wisconsin, because he was a linebacker who rushed, and he was a better rusher than he was a linebacker. And then he kind of just floated around in New Orleans, didn't really find his footing until, you know, as a rusher, until they put him back in linebacker. And that's where he found his footing. Chad Campbell, I think, is going to be different. They have him at linebacker right now. But honestly, what makes him special is he's a run and chase tackler. He's a run and hit tackler. He's got great traits. He's very, very rangy, but he also has a lot of rush. And you're going to see that at some point here. It's that explosive gear right here. Not only is it chasing sideline to sideline, it's getting downhill after running backs, and then a sub-package rusher. He's still got to learn some rush moves, but he's got just natural ability to corner and to turn quick around the edge. He can blitz from the B gap, the A gap. You want to bring him off the edge, that's fine. So what he is, Jihad Campbell, is very good in coverage. He's a very good rusher, and he's still learning to be instinctive as a linebacker. You look at who they have right now, Philadelphia, there's no rush. You got to bring him along at a decent pace.
Look, he's a talented player. It's funny you talked about the Zach Bond comparison in terms of how Vic Fangio was able to unleash and unlock Zach Bond. Similar traits. This is a guy off-ball linebacker with pass rush skills. You just think about what they're building on defense. They already had a defense that was a bully, but now putting him behind Jalen Carter and being able to utilize all kinds of combinations when it comes to blitzing and simulated pressures and those things. Good player who can do so much. And the Philadelphia Eagles just continue to get better. Howie Roseman does it again, just finds a way to add another blue chip player wherever they're picking in the draft.
From a strategy perspective, can you just take me inside of a front office, Buck? They moved up one spot to go and get Campbell. But felt like Kansas City was going to take him. Felt like another team liked him enough to move into
Never
the
know,
first round.
man. When you like a guy, go get your guy. If you like him, go get him. It doesn't matter what the investment or what the cost is. They felt like they had a plan for him. Obviously, there were multiple people in the room that co-signed on it, like, hey, if we get this guy, this is how we'll use him. Chump change to move up and get the player that you want.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably sit there and get him, but boy, you'd hate it if you didn't.
You'd be sick to your stomach.
I just watched the Houston Texans get their offensive guard, who they were waiting for, pulled out from under them one pick before, and then they just traded completely out. So you'd hate to have that happen. You'd hate for the Kansas City Chiefs. What you'd really hate is for the Chiefs to take a trade call from another team. It's not about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Take another trade call from another team that needs a linebacker. I don't know. Tampa Bay could move up. They need a position like that. So there's some teams that still need linebacker. The Rams they could use a linebacker. The Rams could have come back in. You just don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, we saw the Rams trade out with the Atlanta Falcons, who took James Pierce with that selection. Lance just made reference to it. If you missed that pick, at 24, the Minnesota Vikings drafted Donovan Jackson. It was a guy that you thought the Houston Texans might have been interested in. And once that happened, pick up the phone. Giants move into the first round and took Jackson Dart, 25th overall. Kansas City Chiefs, here we go. 32nd overall pick, guys. You tell me.
I see them drafting the offensive lineman.
Feels like you
Offensive lineman.
we talked about more depth in that wide receiver room. We also have talked about some of the issues that they've had. I don't want to say issues on the defensive side because that's really what's carried them, but depth on that side of football. Offensive line certainly comes to mind. What's the pick that makes the most sense?
Patrick Mahomes said he wanted to throw more deep balls. They need to get this offense to being a high-flying offense. But the one thing that is missing is they have not had a dynamic running back, someone that could command attention that would allow them to have one-on-one on the outside. I'm looking at Travion Henderson, and I'm thinking, hey, man, he would be the perfect fit, up-tempo running back, a guy who can do it in space. Patrick Mahomes wants more big play. He's tired of playing this dink-and-dunk ball. Got that big old Hollister, but can't use it. Running back opens up the field for them because now they can use play action. They can do some different things to unleash and unlock some of this offense that it just hasn't been what we thought the Kansas City Chiefs offense needs to be each and every year.
More name recognition maybe in that backfield, and I think you're right in terms of the production and what it could be. Really interesting. I think when I go to NFL.com and I look at a lot of these mock drafts, it's been offensive line, it's been defensive line. Lance, is there a player that you like here for them?
Well, I like Travion Henderson because you have so much firepower now with the Bills and with the Ravens and with the Bengals, and I think the Texans could come back. The Chargers just got better today. So, yeah, adding another player to take a little bit. I tell you, a surprise would be Mason Taylor. So, Mason Taylor, I think, fitting in,
that's a good one.
For Travis Kelce would be a really good pick here, too, I think.
Surprise or chalk? Here's the answer.
With the 32nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Josh Simmons, tackle, Ohio State.
My Lord, the mocks had this one on NFL.com. A slew of them had Simmons.
I just forgot about Josh Simmons, so I had my mock drafts for the last whatever. So you got to be – there's a knee question with Josh Simmons. He's coming back from the patellar tear. There's been whispers of maybe, he's got to mature, whatever the case may be. I can tell you this. When you watch him on tape, he's the most talented, the most purely gifted tackle in the draft. He's got great body type. He's got the long arms. There's holes with all the other tackles have some holes.
And there we have the first round, Joe.
There he is.
Complete.
There he is. Yes. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for coming.
No problem.
Wow, this was a lot of fun. We had a
I know. The only thing I was like, wow, I wish, like you said, tomorrow is a new day. So hopefully Travis Hunter goes somewhere, in that time. Yes. I appreciate you both of you guys for staying the long haul.
Listen, this was a lot of fun. Glad we got to do this. This is what it's about. It's about having fun. We definitely have our viewpoints and opinions on these topics, and it's fun to break them down.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to be discussing Shedeur for quite some time, even after tonight. That's going to be a headline tomorrow. They're going to run that morning. All the talk shows tomorrow are going to talk about Shedeur not being drafted in the first round.
All of them. That's true. That is so true. Yeah.
They're plotting that right now as part of their rundown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
What time is this? Shadura's not in the first round. That's what time it is.
Right. Yeah. Everybody seems like they're having their, I guess, quote unquote, fun, especially the ones that don't care for him. I'm like, oh yeah, it's it.
I just think the disrespect is real though, because honestly, he should have been. He should have been.
He definitely. And when the Giants did that flipperoo, I was like, oh, well, but hey, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, you guys have a good rest of your night. It was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you. All right. You guys
All
have.
right.
All right.
Take care.
All
Good
right.
night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.